Hi po mga teachers! Bago natin simulan ang ating training, Meron lang akong ilang mga paalala para maging maayos at maganda ang inyong experience dito sa ating Zoom webinar. Gamitin ang iyong buong pangalan bilang iyong Zoom username, first name, and last name. Halimbawa, ang gagamitin ko na Zoom username ay Paulo. Yan ang aking first name. At Videones naman ang aking last name. Ito'y para makilala kayo ng trainer at ng iba pang mga participants ng webinar. Makakatulong din ito para ma-address kayo ng tama kapag kinakausap kayo during the webinar. Be on time. Dapat po nakalagin tayo at least 5 minutes before the start of the webinar. Hindi po tayo maghihintayan at magsisimula po ang webinar on time kahit hindi kumpleto ang attendance. Magkakaroon po tayo ng ilang mga breaks during the webinar. Kaya pag sinabi ng trainer na 10 minuto lamang ang break, siguraduhin po natin nakabreak na tayo sa ating Zoom bago matapos ang 10 minuto para wala kang ma-miss na lectures and discussions. Mute your microphone. Siguraduhin naka-mute ang iyong mikropono during the webinar, lalo na kapag nagsasalita pa ang trainer. Makikita ang mute button sa ilalim ng iyong Zoom screen. Ito'y para hindi magulo at maingay ang audio habang nagsasalita ang trainer. Patayin po natin ang mga apps na may notification sa inyong mga laptop at cellphone, gaya ng Messenger or Viber, para hindi po ito tumutunog habang kayo ay nasa webinar. Buksan po natin ang ating mga Zoom video camera. Ito'y para makita ng trainer ang inyong reaksyon at attentiveness sa mga sinasabi niya. Isa din itong uri ng pagpapakita ng respeto sa iba pang mga participants ng webinar na nagbukas din ng kanilang mga Zoom video camera. Makikita ang video button sa ibaba ng inyong Zoom screen. Maghanda po tayo ng papel at ballpen. Ito'y gagamitin para isulat ang mga importanteng detalye sa webinar. Maaari ding isulat dito ang mga questions or clarifications na maaari mong itanong sa trainer sa dulo ng bawat session or during the open forum. Raise your hand or use the chat feature if you have urgent questions. Makikita ang raise your hand button sa ilalim ng inyong Zoom screen. Hintayin na i-acknowledge ka ng trainer bago po kayo magsalita. Tandaan po natin maaari lang gamitin ang group chat feature ng Zoom para makipag-communicate sa trainer. Pwedeng isulat dito ang urgent questions, clarifications, or mga reactions sa mga sinasabi ng trainer. Bawal gamitin ang group chat feature ng Zoom para makipag-usap sa ibang mga participants, lalo na kung hindi naman related ang topic ng inyong usapan sa webinar na ito. Everyone is encouraged to use a headset with built-in microphone. Ito'y para mas malinaw mong marinig ang lectures, discussions, and video clips na ipapalabas during the webinar. Makakatulong din ang built-in microphone ng inyong headset para mas malinaw ka naming marinig when it is your turn to speak. Do not overlap when someone is talking. Let them finish their sentence. Ito'y para magkarinigan ang lahat ng participants during the discussions. Makikita na maha-highlight ng green color ang box ng taong nagsasalita sa inyong screen. Gaya po nito. Hi po mga teachers! Para sa inyong journey para maging mga content creator at TV presenter, gumawa ko ng ilang mga maiikling mga video para madagdagan ang inyong kaalaman sa wastong paggamit ng teknolohiya para sa mga project natin. Huminga ng malalim, huwag po kayong kabahan, tutulungan ko kayo. Kayang-kaya natin to. Dress appropriately. Magsuot po tayo ng disenteng pananamit na nababagay sa isang seminar o di kaya training. No screenshots allowed, no recording. Ang webinar na ito ay pagmamay-ari ng kumpanya ng mga trainer at hindi maaring i-record or kunan ng litrato ang anumang portion ng webinar kung wala ang kanilang pahintulot. Use of inappropriate background is not allowed. Siguraduhin po natin na disente ang background natin sa ating mga Zoom video. Kung gagamit po tayo ng tinatawag na virtual background, let's make sure na disente din at hindi offensive ang makikita dito. Ang mga registered participants lamang ang pinapayagang pumasok sa Zoom webinar. Hindi maaring manood, mag-observe, o di kaya mag-participate ang mga tao o grupo na hindi registered sa webinar na ito. Maghanap po tayo ng lugar sa loob ng inyong bahay, opisina o paaralan na tahimik, may magandang ilaw at malakas na internet connection. Manatili po tayo sa lugar na ito sa kabuuan ng ating webinar. Ngayong alam niyo na ang Zoom webinar etiquette. Pwede na natin simulan ang ating training. Okay, good morning everyone. Good morning and welcome to the orientation for building your own studios in your various divisions in your offices. My name is Paulo Bejones and I'll be leading the orientation today. We have with us also Director Abanil of the ICTS to offer support as well to all of our attendees and participants today. So once again, good morning. Today we're going to be talking about capacity building, and we have really two areas of capacity building that we want to explore here. The first one is capacity building for your teacher broadcasters. So the past few months, there were several searches and several, I guess you can call it calls for teacher broadcasters to be part of a training program wherein they will learn, they will be enabled, equipped, and at the same time, they will be learning how to become teacher broadcasters on television. Now, the past few days, we also had a dry run on television. I hope some of you saw it on IBC 13 and on Solar, wherein these teacher broadcasters were able to produce their own television lessons. Now, producing content for television is not an easy task. It's not as simple as, say, for example, having your cell phone and taking videos and then just airing that and posting it. For television, it's totally different. There's a whole new process when we talk about television broadcast. And that's also what we want to address today. So once again, good morning to all of our participants, our attendees, the superintendents, the division heads, and all of their staff and team that is present with us today. So let's talk about the two areas of capacity building. One, for those who have teacher broadcasters in your area, those who have teachers who have been chosen to be part of the training program, we want to be able to offer them the kind of support so that when they do produce their videos, these are what we call broadcast quality videos. That's one side. The other side of capacity building we're talking about is how will you be able to, based on the resources that you have, how will you be able to assist or augment the talent force of the central office? Now, to give you an overview of the kind of volume of episodes and lessons that will have to be produced on a weekly, monthly, and across 6 months, we are talking about 81 lessons every week, which translates to 320 every month. And in a span of 6 months, about 1,920. Now, these video lessons are going to be 25 minutes in length. And again, for those of you who are not familiar with how it works on television, 25 minutes is the average length for a 30-minute show. The other 5 minutes is meant for commercials and other plugs, if the network wants to produce other TV shows. Or if you're a block timer, if you're able to secure that time slot, then you can actually sell that to advertisers. Now, 25 minutes for a video lesson is not easy. It may sound simple enough, but because we're talking about television, we cannot just take a video of a teacher broadcaster doing his or her lecture and then simply posting that or simply submitting that. The networks will not accept it. The networks have a certain standard that we have to fulfill so that the material that we send to them will be aired. Now, we want to be able to orient everyone in terms of what is it exactly that we need, what is it exactly that you can build in your areas, in your locations, with several considerations. Number one, it shouldn't be expensive. The kind of setup that we're looking for shouldn't cost an arm and a leg. Number two, it's easy to set up, meaning the resources are readily available there. You will be able to access certain suppliers if need be. No. Then the third part really is we want to make sure that all of the various resources that we will be tapping also have a certain standard. So again, to give you an overview of what we're trying to do here, we're trying to build studios for the teacher broadcasters to have broadcast quality content that will be aired on the various television networks and cable channels. Two, we need assistance here over at the central office when it comes to resources. For example, if we're talking about editors, graphics artists, and illustrators. So I do believe that some of you out there are editors, are graphics artists, are illustrators, and we just need to be able to make sure that the equipment that you have and the capacity that you have and also the capabilities that you have will match the need right now here at the central office. So one of the things that we're going to be discussing is we're going to be going through the entire pre-production, production, and post-production aspect of what needs to be completed for videos to become television lessons. And we're going to take you step by step so that you can see in each step if, okay, that is something that we can do. Okay, that's something that we want to contribute to. It goes without saying that what we're about to embark on, or what we have started on together with Yusek Elaine, with Director Abanil of the ICTS, is unprecedented. This is something that has never, ever been done before. Never, ever have teacher broadcasters been trained in a span of a few weeks or maybe a few months so that they can have television shows that will be airing on major television networks. It's never been done. Two, it's never been done before that we are talking about an average of 21 video lessons rather every single day that will be produced over a span of 5 to 6 days. That's never been done. What else has never been done? It's never been done before that a television program will be mandatory viewing for students. Okay, so that's a brief overview of what we have to do. But at this point, I would like to introduce the director of the ICTS, Director Abram Abanil, to give us some opening remarks. Director, good morning.
Hello, Paolo. Good morning. Hello and good morning din sa ating mga superintendents, division staff, school heads, and teachers who are present today. Maayong buntag to those who are in Mindanao and in Visayas. Thank you for showing your interest in assisting the department in our efforts to establish the DepEd TV. As many of you know, we have been scouting for potential talents who would become teacher broadcasters who would be lecturing in front of the camera to cover all the subjects in kinder to grade 12. These teacher broadcasters will need to produce around 81 episodes, as Paulo said earlier, every week to cover all the subjects in K to 12, and this will be aired in national TV and radio stations. Yung plan namin is from Monday to Friday, we will be airing these episodes from 8 o'clock in the morning up to 6 o'clock in the evening. So far at the moment, we already have partnerships with IBC 13, with Solar TV, and also with Signal TV. Currently, there are negotiations to also include GMA Television. We have already identified around 138 potential talents who we expect can produce around 5 episodes per week. However, we are encountering a lot of logistical challenges every day, and one of the major ones we have identified is the availability of studios and videographers who will support our teacher broadcasters. We currently have only 4 studios in Metro Manila, and we actually established this just last month. We need more studios. We need more support personnel, especially in the provinces, to help us accelerate our production processes. Producing around 81 episodes per week, as Paulo mentioned, has never been done before, but we believe that we can do this. Last month, we had totally no capability in producing, but we were able to broadcast 6 episodes in August 11. Today, we already have 138 potential teacher broadcasters. We are encountering logistical barriers every day, but we are addressing them one at a time. We believe that as a department, we can do this. Basta hindi lang tayo magkanya-kanya, and we work together as one agency and as one family. So again, good morning sa inyong lahat, and we really thank you for your interest to provide us with the support that will be needed to make sure that DepEd TV can go live in October 5 with all the episodes that will be needed for our children to learn. So again, good morning and thank you to all.
Thank you, Director Abanil of the ICTS. As the Director mentioned, this is something that we are truly grateful for, because there's no way that we're going to be able to execute this venture without the support of everyone out there, all of our participants right now who are listening. The way that the orientation is going to go from here on will be also like a crash course in television production. And the reason why we want to do that is we want to ease you in to this new role that you will be playing. Obviously, before the pandemic, capacity building in terms of television broadcast, knowledge on television production, or even content production wasn't at the list of our priorities. But because there's limited face-to-face, because we're going to have to resort to blended learning, so that at the end of the day, the learners will be the ones who will be benefiting from all of our efforts. It is now important for us to be able to address both the need and at the same time to access the desire of everyone listening to be able to help and assist and augment here in this program of teacher broadcasters. But more than just teacher broadcasters, we would like to call this program or this project DepEd TV. So what is DepEd TV? As Director Abanil mentioned, DepEd TV is essentially you have the airing of television lessons that are based on the existing modules, and these will be able to give students all of the lessons that they will be needing, together with the whole blended learning concept, of which maybe later on when we have Yusek Alain, he will discuss further what blended learning really is, because apparently there is some confusion as to what it really entails and what it corresponds to. But our role here today is to be able to orient everyone. And And forgive me if there are some videos or if there are some aspects during the orientation that you are overly familiar with already. Based on the invitation that was sent out, it was pretty general. We were looking at the superintendents, the division heads, school heads, and we asked them also to invite some of their technical support. Now, for the technical support listening, there might be some aspects here that you already know. So again, bear with us. We put together this entire webinar training program orientation for all of you and also for the teacher broadcasters. Now, before anything else, like I mentioned, we want to ease everyone in, slowly ease everyone in. I want everyone to be familiar with certain terminologies that we actually use in television broadcasts. So I prepared a video for all of you, and this is called Basic Production Terminologies. Here it is.
Hi po ulit mga teachers! Welcome sa mundo ng television production. Today, tuturuan ko kayo ng basic production terminologies o mga jargon na ginagamit sa industriya. Importante malaman ninyo ang mga words at terms na ginagamit behind the scenes para magkaintindihan kayo ng mga makakatrabahong production staff and crew. Pumili kami ng 15 basic production terminologies na madalas ginagamit ng mga tao sa TV production. Simulan natin ang lesson today sa first 3 terms. Ito ay ang 3 stages ng television production. Ang unang stage ay ang pre-production. Ang pre-production ay ang proseso ng pagplano at pag-aayos ng lahat ng mga requirements bago magsimula ang shooting o taping. Sa pelikula, kasama sa stage na ito ang casting o pagpili ng mga artista, staffing o pagkuha ng mga staff, pati na ang location hunting, kung saan kukunan ng mga eksena ng programa. Para sa content creators naman na katulad po ninyo, kasama dito ang paghahanda ng inyong script base sa inyong lesson plan at treatment or kung paano na-visualize ang inyong presentation, gadgets at mga visual aids bago kayo sumalang sa camera. Ang next na stage ay ang production. Ito ang aktual na taping or shooting kung saan kinukunan ang mga eksena sa location or lugar kung saan akma ang mga kukunan na eksena o di naman kaya ay sa TV studio. Post-production ang huling stage ng TV production. Ang post-production ay kilala din sa tawag na editing kung saan pinuputol ang mga footage at pinagdudugtong-dugtong para mabuo ang episode ng isang programa. Kasama din dito ang iba pang mga proseso tulad ng paglalagay ng graphics, musical scoring o paglalapat ng orihinal o binayarang musika. Color correction o yung pagsasaayos ng kulay ng inyong video materials at ang audio leveling o pagsasaayos naman ng tamang audio level base na rin sa standard ng isang network or platform kung saan ipapalabas ang inyong ginawa. OBB at CBB. OBB means opening billboard and CBB means closing billboard. Ang OBB ay ang napapanood ninyo na introduction bago magsimula ang programa. Madalas ay dito ipinapakita ang title ng programa o kaya naman ang title ng episode. Ang CBB naman ay ang closing credits ng programa kung saan ninyo makikita ang pangalan ng mga tao na nasa likod ng camera. VO. Ang VO o voice over ay ang sound or audio portion ng programa kung saan naririnig ng manonood ang boses ng isang announcer o host pero hindi nila siya nakikita sa television screen. Parang ganito, naririnig niyo ako pero hindi niyo ako nakikita. Yan ang VO. Adlib. Ang adlib ay mga linya o galaw na wala sa script o hindi kasama sa mga inensayo bago kunan ang eksena. Madalas ginagawa ito ng mga TV presenters sa mga live na programa tuwing nagkakaroon ng tinatawag na technical issues. Isa sa mga qualities ng magaling na TV presenter ay dapat marunong siyang mag-adlib. Nangyayari din ito kapag ang prompter na inyong binabasa ay biglang namamatay o nawawala sa inyong screen. Katulad nito, wala akong binabasa ngayon, pero patuloy pa rin akong sasalita dahil gusto ko malaman ninyo na walang pigil ang aking pagbibigay ng impormasyon sa inyong lahat. B-roll. Ang B-roll ay ang mga pandagdag o alternatibong mga shot na ginagamit sa programa para mas mapaganda ang main scene. Ang mga shot na ito ay madalas kinukunan bago pa man dumating sa set ang TV presenter. Halimbawa, kung ang content na iyong gagawin ay pagluluto, ang mga B-roll na kailangan mong kunan ay ang mga sangkap na gagamitin sa inyong putahe, pati na ang mga kitchen tools and instruments. Ang cut ay ang salita na isisigaw ng direktor para ipaalam sa TV presenter pati na sa production crew na tapos na ang eksena at maaari nang itigil ang pag-record ng kamera. Sa editing naman, ang cut ay ang mabilisang paglipat mula sa isang eksena patungo sa susunod na eksena. Headroom. Ang headroom ay ang espasyo sa gitna ng tuktok ng ulo ng TV presenter at ng pinakadulong itaas ng inyong TV screen. Kailangan lagyan ng sapat na espasyo ang headroom kapag inaayos ninyo ang framing and composition ng imahe na makikita sa inyong kamera. Huwag masyadong dikit sa tuktok para hindi maputol ang ulo ng TV presenter sa screen. Huwag din naman masyadong malawak ang headroom. Dapat ay sapat lang, katulad nito. Idiot board. Ang idiot board ay ang off-camera na kodigo na ginagamit ng TV presenter para basahin ang kanyang script during filming. Kung gagamit kayo nito, siguraduhin nakadikit ito sa camera para hindi mahalata ng mga manonood na binabasa mo lamang ang inyong script. Kung may extra budget naman, pwede din gumamit ng tinatawag na teleprompter. Patulad naman nito. Pilot. Kung sa industriya ng aviation, ang pilot ay ang tao na nagmamaneho ng isang eroplano. Sa mundo ng telebisyon, pilot ang tawag sa kauna-unahang episode ng isang programa. Importante ang first impression sa mga manonood, kaya mahalaga na pagandahin ang pilot ng bawat palabas. Script. Ang script ay ang papel o dokumento kung saan nakasulat ang mga linyang kailangan sabihin ng TV presenter sa harap ng kamera. Sa telebisyon, isinusulat ito ng scriptwriter na miyembro ng creative team. Ang tawag dito ay two-column script. Makikita na nasa left side ang video column at nasa right side naman ang audio column. Dapat ay capital letters ang voice-over lines and on-camera dialogue para hindi mahirapang magbasa ang TV presenter. Tandaan na kung anong sinasabi sa audio, yun din dapat ang nakikita sa video. Shot list. Ang shot list ay isang kumpletong listahan na nagsasabi kung ano ang dapat kunan ng bawat camera para sa bawat eksena ng programa. Maganda gumawa kayo ng ganito para wala kayong makalimutan eksena o shot tuwing magpo-produce ng content. Talent. Talent ang tawag sa lahat ng tao na makikita sa harap ng kamera. Ang mga artista, news reporters, TV hosts, backup dancers, pati na lahat ng mga extra. Basta makikita sa harap ng kamera ay kasama sa tinatawag na talents. Ang T-card o title card, ang text o logo na nagsasabi kung ano ang titulo ng palabas. Makikita ang title card sa simula ng isang episode o segment ng programa. Ang mga salita at terms na aking itinuro ay ilan lamang sa mga industry jargon na maririnig ninyo ngayong bahagi na po kayo ng telebisyon. Sigurado ako madami pa kayong mga matututunan na iba pang terminologies habang nagtatrabaho sa industriyang ito.
That is a very, very brief introduction as to what it is we are going to be doing. Television production, and again, I will say this over and over again, it's never been done before. It's never been done before that we are going to be looking all over the country for studios, for editors, for graphics artists, illustrators, teacher broadcasters, directors, executive producers, and associate producers to come together, especially during this pandemic where it's so hard to communicate, where it's so hard to be able to coordinate, where it's so difficult when it comes to, as Director Abanil mentioned a while ago, the logistical challenges that we are facing right now. So again, bear with us. We prepared several videos so that you can make an informed decision. If you still do want to be part of DepEd TV, this is a project, and Yusek Alin will mention this later on, I am very sure. This is a long-term project. This is not just for the pandemic. the DepEd TV project is envisioned to be a permanent staple on television, so that the learners will continuously have new lessons each and every day while there are classes. And this is something that has always been a dream of the Department of Education, to have a television channel dedicated solely to education. And it's not just TV, also radio will be having their own dedicated stations on the airwaves. So also we are looking for teacher broadcasters who are adept or who have a talent in radio as well, because that's another mode of teaching that we're going to be tackling. Now, after basic terminologies, really what we want to look at now is, what do you have? Look around your environment and try to see if what you have is something that we can build upon. Improve upon. Video is basically called Ideal Environments.
Hi po mga teachers! Importante ang pagpili ng lugar kung saan nyo kukunan ang inyong gagawing content. Kaya, maglilista po tayo ng ilang mga requirements at magbibigay tayo ng mga tips na makakatulong sa inyo sa pagpili ng lugar na gagawin nating content production area. Siguraduhin po natin na tahimik ang pipiliing lugar kung saan kayo magsushoot ng inyong content. Lumayo sa mga maiingay na kwarto kung saan malakas ang ng mga alagang aso, may ingay at makukulit ang mga bata, o di kaya may ugong ng dumadaan ng mga sasakyan, katulad ng tricycle o di kaya ng jeep. Mas maiintindihan ng mga students po ninyo kung klaro at hindi maingay ang audio habang pinapanood ang inyong mga television lecture. Strong broadband or fiber internet connection. Importante na malakas at stable ang internet sa inyong pipiliing content production area. Ito dahil kailangan ninyong isubmit ang mga ginawa ninyong content gamit ang internet. Ang aming recommended minimum upload and download speed ay 5 Mbps. Mas mabilis na internet speed, mas maganda. Para po malaman ang speed ng inyong internet, pumunta lang sa www.speedtest.com at pindutin ninyo ang Go. Diyan nyo makikita ang upload speeds and download speeds ng inyong internet. Tandaan na mas stable ang wired internet connection kumpara sa wireless internet connection or Wi-Fi. Kaya, ang aming recommendation, gumamit ng Ethernet or LAN cable sa inyong content production area. Clean and organized. Siguraduhin malinis at clutter-free ang lugar ng mga content. Ito dahil may tendency na ma-distract ang mga estudyante kapag magulo at makalat ang background ninyo na nakikita nila sa telebisyon. Kapag clean and organized ang studio or set, mas nakakapag-focus ang mga estudyante sa pakikinig at panonood sa nagsasalita on their screens. Well-lit space. Siguraduhin hindi madilim ang area na inyong pipiliin. We suggest na ilagay ang inyong content production area malapit sa bintana kung saan pumapasok ang natural na ilaw mula sa araw. Ito'y para may natural source of light ka habang kinukunan ang inyong content. Kung may extra budget ka o di kaya makakahiram, pwede din naman gumamit ng artificial source of light katulad ng nauusong mga ring lights gaya nito. Plain white wall. Para sa mga baguhang content creator, we suggest na gumamit muna ng plain white wall bilang background sa inyong video. Mura na, madali pa dahil halos lahat ng bahay, opisina o paaralan ay meron nito. Siyempre mas maganda pa rin na kung ang background location mo ay naaayon sa subject na itinuturo mo. Halimbawa, maaari kang mag-shoot ng content sa science laboratory kung chemistry teacher ka, or sa inyong hardin kung biology naman ang inyong tinuturo. Enough space to move around. Make sure po na maluwag o may sapat na space ka para makagalaw while filming. Importante ito lalo na kung gagamit ka ng mga visual aids or props sa iyong television lecture. May sapat na saksakan ng kuryente dahil gagamit ka ng mga electronic gadgets tulad ng cellphone, laptop, tablet, mga camera at mga ilaw sa paggawa ng inyong mga content. Make sure na may sapat na power outlet po tayo sa pipiliing content production area. Ang location naman natin, dry and indoor. Siguraduhin tuyo at nasa loob ng bahay o opisina ang pipiliing lugar na gagawing content production area. Ito ay para maging ligtas at hindi mabasa o masira ang mga electronic devices na gagamitin ninyo sa paggawa ng mga content. Ngayon alam niyo na ang mga tips at requirements sa tamang pagpili ng lugar na gagawing content production area. Pwede niyo nang simulan ang paghahanap ng kwarto o di kaya sulok sa inyong bahay, opisina o paaralan para sa inyong makeshift television studio. Good luck sa mga teachers!
So that should give you all an idea of what it is exactly that we need. We need a large enough space where we can put lights, and we'll be talking about lights later on. And we're also going to be giving you options of what you can either purchase or you can borrow from different suppliers out there in your areas. So the reason why we need a large enough space is if we're talking about television, we want to make sure that we have a crisp video image. And we'll also be talking about cameras that we're going to be needing. And these are not high-end cameras. These are not expensive cameras. They can be outsourced. And because we're looking at per studio recording at most probably one or two, really depending on your capacity, 1 or 2 episodes a month. And that's going to be a huge help already. We need to be able to organize all of our inventory out in the country. So if, for example, we have an area that has an excellent studio and we have teacher broadcasters who are maybe an hour or just 2 hours away, then maybe those teacher broadcasters can come over and we can have 2 or 3 teacher broadcasters sharing that particular studio. That's the kind of vision that we're looking at in terms of augmenting the kind of workforce that we need. So as I mentioned, later on, we're going to be talking about equipment. We're going to be talking about the kinds of equipment, and then the basic or the minimum standard specs that we're looking for. So the next thing that we want to talk about, because I just received a message that there are some of you out there who are actually videographers or who are assigned to be the videographers. Now, videographers are those that are holding the camera. And in television production, it's not as simple as just holding the camera and pressing record. You have to know the settings. And we're going to have a future workshop for those out there listening right now who want to be videographers. We will have a separate workshop for that because that is highly technical, where you're going to be talking about aperture, ISO, opening of the aperture, and the kind of exposure that you're going to be needing. These are all technical, and we don't want to overwhelm people with too much technical jargon. But we will be scheduling a separate workshop for that. We're going to have a videographer on the webinar with a camera, and hopefully you'll all have your gadgets or your equipment with you so that you can, together with the webinar, adjust accordingly. Now, aside from that, we also want to be talking about those out there who would like to be directors. So we have a video prepared for all of you. This one is called Basic Cinematography. So again, for those of you out there who would like to be directors, this is for you.
Hi po ulit Alright mga teachers, ngayong papasok na kayo sa makulay na mundo ng telebisyon. Mahalaga na alam ninyo ang mga basics ng photography at cinematography para naman mas maintindihan ninyo ang mga instructions ng inyong mga direktor kapag nasa loob na kayo ng TV studio. Simulan natin ang crash course na ito sa mga basic types of camera shots. Meron tayong tatlong basic camera shots, ang close-up, medium shot, at long shot. Ang close-up ay isang uri ng camera shot kung saan kinukunan ng malapitan ang isang tao o bagay para mas makita ang mga detalye nito. Ang camera shot na ito ay masikip at kinukuha ang espasyo ng buong screen. Madalas ay ginagamit ito para ipakita sa mga manonood kung anong emosyon meron ang artista o TV presenter. Ganito ang itsura ng close-up shot. Ginagamit din ang camera shot na ito para ipakita sa mga manonood ang mga detalye o impormasyon tungkol sa mga bagay o lokasyon na kasama sa eksena. Halimbawa, maaaring gamitin ang close-up shot para ipakita sa mga viewers na dapat nila pansinin o bigyan ng atensyon ang whiteboard marker na ito. Ang medium shot o kilala din bilang waist shot or shot mula sa bewang ay isang uri ng camera shot kung saan kinukunan ang subject mula sa katamtamang distansya. Sa shot na ito, makikita ang kalahati ng katawan ng artista o TV presenter mula bewang hanggang ulo. Ganito ang itsura ng medium shot. Sa ganitong uri ng camera shot, makikita pa din ang ilang mga detalye ng artista o TV presenter, pati na ang lokasyon o lugar kung nasaan siya. Ginagamit ng mga direktor ang shot na ito para ipakita ang body language ng mga artista o TV presenters at kung papaano sila nakikisalamuha sa mga tao o lugar kung saan kinukunan ang eksena. Ito ang recommended type of shot kung gagawa ka ng television lecture o di kaya instructional video. Punta naman tayo sa long shot o tinatawag din na wide shot. Madalas na ginagamit para ipakita kung saan nangyayari ang eksena. Bukod sa pagpapakita ng kinaroroonan ng artista o TV presenter, makikita din ang buong katawan ng artista o TV presenter mula ulo hanggang paa. Ganito ang itsura ng long shot. Ngayong alam niyo na kung ano-ano ang mga basic camera shots, pag-usapan naman natin kung papaano ang tamang pag-compose o pag-frame ng mga subjects sa ating mga ginagamit na camera. Ang pinaka-basic na guideline na sinusunod ng mga TV directors, filmmakers, at photographers ay tinatawag na Rule of Thirds. Ang Rule of Thirds ay isang guideline na nagsasabi na ang frame ay nahahati sa 9 na equal parts. May 2 imaginary horizontal lines at 2 imaginary vertical lines. Rule of thirds ang tawag dito dahil merong 3x3 grid na mabubuo kapag inilagay na ang mga imaginary lines na yan. Sinasabi ng rule of thirds na kailangan ilagay ang pinaka-importanteng subject ng eksena sa intersection point ng mga imaginary lines o mismong sa imaginary line, katulad nito. Ginagamit ang rule of thirds ng mga filmmakers at TV directors para mapilitan ang mata ng mga manonood na sundan at hanapin ang importanteng element sa eksena. Kaya mas nagbumukhang dynamic at hindi boring o static ang eksena. Itong halimbawa ng eksena na sumusunod sa rule of thirds. Makikitang ang mata ng artista ay nasa intersection point ng 3x3 grid. Tandaan na ang rule of thirds ay isa lamang guide for framing and composition. Makakatulong ang guide na ito sa mga baguhang filmmakers or content producers na katulad po ninyo. Bilang content creators, nasa sa inyo pa din ang desisyon kung papaano nyo gagamitin o gustong i-frame ang mga subjects sa inyong mga kamera.
Once again, that video was made especially for those out there who would like to be directors of the episodes here on DepEd TV. there are some things that we'll also be tackling later on, and it's really geared towards, and I mentioned this at the earlier part of the orientation, capacity building. And there are some of you who just joined us right now. What we're talking about is capacity building for TV.
Ng isang portable folding reflector na madalas ginagamit ng professional filmmakers at cinematographers. Pero kung medyo nagtitipid sa budget, pwede din naman gumamit ng madalas ginagamit ng professional filmmakers na mabibili sa tindahan ng school supplies. Maaring gumamit ng styroboard, katulad nito. Pwede din gamitin ang white side ng illustration board, katulad naman nito. Mas mura gumamit ng reflector kaysa bumili pa kayo ng extra lights. Isa sa mga major na pagkakamali ng mga amateur content creator ay ang pag-film against the light. Ano nga ba ang filming against the light? Ito ay pagpwesto ng source of light sa likod ng subject o TV presenter. Kapag ginawa nyo ito, puro anino ang makikita ng manonood. Magiging madilim ang mukha ng kinukunang subject, katulad ng eksenang ito. O hindi ba? Hindi maganda. Kaya always remind yourself na tuwing gagawa ng content, dapat nasa harap ng TV presenter ang main source of light para mailawan ang mukha niya. Overexposure. Kapag sumobra ang ilaw na naitutok sa TV presenter during your shoot, magiging sobrang puti ng subject. Masakit ito sa mata at masisilaw ang mga manonood. Ang tawag dito ay overexposure o mas kilala sa local TV industry sa tawag na sunog. Para maiwasan ito, siguraduhin na tama lang ang intensity ng gagamiting ilaw na itinututok ninyo sa subject during your shoot. Napapaisip ba kayo kung bakit minsan ang ganda ng video quality ng ibang mga YouTube videos kahit small budget lang sila? Siguro akala ninyo ito ay dahil bumili sila ng mamahaling camera. Pero nagkakamali po kayo. Magandang video quality nila dahil ang content creator na yon ay gumagamit ng isang unique lighting equipment na tinatawag na ring light. Usong-uso ang ring light ngayon dahil bukod sa mura ito, multi-purpose pa. Pwedeng gamitin ito to light the TV presenter. Pwede din gamitin to light the background o kaya naman ang mga kinukunang props or visual aids. Dahil bilog ang shape ng ring light, pantay ang ibinabato na ilaw sa subject kaya mas nagmumukhang professionally produced ang video. Ganito ang itsura ng ring light. Sa TV production, ang pinaka-basic standard lighting setup na ginagamit ay tinatawag na 3-point lighting. Ang lighting setup na ito ay gumagamit ng tatlong sources of light. Ang tatlong ilaw na kailangan ay ang key light, fill light, at backlight. Isa-isahin po natin. Ang key light ay ang main source of light na nag-iilaw sa inyong subject. Ito ay ang pinakamalakas na ilaw sa 3-point lighting setup. Pwede ang ilaw mula sa araw ang gamiting key light sa inyong shoot. Ang fill light naman ang source of light na ginagamit opposite the key light para matanggal ang mga anino na ginagawa ng key light. Mas mahina ng bahagya ang ilaw na ito kung ikukumpara sa key light. Pwedeng reflector ang gamitin ninyo as fill light. Ang backlight naman ay ang ilaw na nagmumula sa likod ng subject. Inilawan nito ang balikat at buhok ng subject kaya minsan ang tawag dito ay hair light. Ginagawa ito para hindi magmukhang flat ang shot at para mas makita ang separation ng kinukunang subject mula sa background nito. Para sa baguhang content creators, we suggest na gumamit muna ng plain white wall bilang background sa inyong video. Mura na, madali pa dahil halos lahat ng bahay, opisina o paaralan ay meron nito. Kung walang available na plain white wall sa napiling location, maaari din gumamit ng plain colored na bedsheet, plain colored na kortina, o kaya naman ay plain colored na tela. Isampay lang ito sa inyong likod at make sure na walang lukot o lamukos sa inyong backdrop. Inirekomenda na tumayo ang TV presenter at least 5 feet away mula sa backdrop para walang makitang anino sa backdrop at para na din hindi magbukang flat ang eksena. Siguraduhin na ang kulay ng isusot na shirt during filming ay hindi katulad ng kulay na ginagamit na backdrop para hindi ka mag-blend in at mas lumutang ang inyong presence sa video. Siyempre, mas maganda pa rin na kung ang background location mo ay naaayon sa subject na itinuturo mo. Halimbawa, maaari ka mag-shoot ng content sa science laboratory kung chemistry teacher ka o sa garden kung biology naman ang itinuturo ninyo. Siguraduhin lang na malinis at clutter-free ang lugar kung saan ninyo kukunan ang inyong mga content. Ito ay dahil may tendency na ma-distract ng mga students kapag magulo at makalat ang nakikita nila sa telebisyon. Kapag clean and organized ang studio or set, mas nakakapag-focus ang students sa pakikinig at panonood sa nagsasalita on their TV screens. Mga teachers, tandaan ang mga tinuturo kong tips and concepts sa tamang pag-iilaw at paggamit ng backdrop. I-apply ang mga ito para maging malinaw at maganda ang video na gagawin ninyo.
That's a basic introduction to the kind of lighting that we're going to be needing for the production houses or the studios that we are going to be building. And again, based on our research, and there's really no other way to call them, the kasal, binyag, libing, those that record weddings, funerals, and baptisms, they usually have the kind of equipment that we need to execute this. Now, during the pandemic, we know that because there are no mass gatherings, most likely they did not have much work. And now we could give them an opportunity to either volunteer if they're kind enough, or maybe you could negotiate a good deal with them. Because again, like I said, they didn't have many projects over the quarantine period. And most likely they will agree to be part of the DepEd TV program. Now, this video that we just showed on lighting, I want to emphasize that all of those lighting equipment that we discussed, they are not expensive. They should not be expensive. There are some that will cost less than, say, 2,000 pesos, but that's already 2 sets of lights, soft boxes, we'll call them. So later on, I'm going to bring on someone to talk about the kind of equipment that we're going to be needing, both the lights, the audio. So right now, another aspect that we're going to be briefly talking about is audio. So when we say television production, and you're watching something on TV, if the video is a bit fuzzy or if it's not as high resolution, but the audio is good, more often than not, we'll still continue watching. Try to look back at the time when television had rabbit ears, basically, and then we would try to adjust the antennas to look for a good reception. I don't know if the millennials listening right now can relate, but that's how it was before. Televisions, which were square boxes, large square boxes, not the thin television sets that we have now, had antennas. And then these antennas were called rabbit ears that you would try to adjust to get a good reception. Now, when we would watch TV shows before, cartoons or whatever it may be, if the reception wasn't so great, but we could clearly hear the audio, we will continue watching. Now, why am I mentioning this? It's still the same on television. On television, we could have a fuzzy reception, although that should happen much less now because there is digital TV. But basically what I'm saying is people will normally change the channel if your audio is not good enough or if it's not up to the standard of what they're used to hearing. So for example, I'm doing this webinar and I'm not using the microphone from my laptop. Let me show you an example. If I used the microphone on my laptop, it's going to sound pretty awful. Let's see. So this is using the microphone on my laptop. I'm sure that it sounds parang lata, right? There's an echo, most likely. And going back, this is my condenser microphone. Let me show it to you. This is a condenser microphone that I'm using right now. It's not straight. Let me fix that. And it's not expensive, but look at the audio quality. It's very crisp. It's very clear. If I were a radio announcer, all I need to do is come up close to it and go 92.3 News FM. And I'm going to get that effect that you're looking for in terms of audio. Now, if we want to be able to attract our students, if we want to keep them on the lesson, watching the television lesson, there are 2 aspects of production that we need to address. One is it has to be compelling, and second, it has to be engaging. Now, part of the compelling aspect of television production is actually the sound. So this video that I'm going to show to you is all about the kind of equipment that you could get for the kind of sound that we need. Here we go.
Hi po ulit mga teachers! Pagdating sa television production, dalawa ang pinaka-importanting components, ang video at ang audio. Ngayong araw na ito, pag-usapan natin ay ang audio. Alam niyo ba kung ano ang madalas nakasisira sa isang magandang programa sa telebisyon? Yan ay ang pangit na audio. Halimbawa, paano kaya kung hindi niyo naririnig ang sinasabi ko ngayon dahil masyadong maingay? O kaya naman bigla-biglang humihina ang audio dahil sira. Nakakainis, di ba? Madalas kapag sira o pangit ang audio ng isang programa, tinatamad na ang mga manonood na tapusin ang palabas. Kaya bilang mga bagong content creators, importante na alam ninyo kung paano maayos ang audio or sound ng mga gagawin niyong television lectures. Step 1. Pumili ng tahimik na lugar kung saan kukunan ang inyong content. Siguraduhin walang maingay na alagang hayop, nag-iiyak ang mga bata, o kaya naman ay ugong ng mga dumaraang sasakyan katulad ng tricycle o jeepney. Mas tahimik, mas maganda para makapag-focus sa mga nanonood na estudyante sa boses ninyo. Siguraduhin din na walang echo sa gagamiting kwarto. Iwasan ang mga malalaking kwarto na may matitigas na sahig at dingding at may mataas na kisame. Dahil madalas sa mga kwartong ganito ang nagpro-produce ng echo na siyang nakakasira sa audio recording. Ito ay dahil nakaka-distract ang echo sa mga manonood. Step 2. Gumamit ng mikropono. Ang mikropono ay isang uri ng audio equipment na ginagamit para makakuha ng sound. Mas malinaw at klaro ang maire-record na sound kung gagamit tayo ng external microphone kumpara sa pag-record gamit ang built-in microphone ng inyong telepono. Pakinggan natin ang pinagkaiba. Ito naman ang maririnig ninyo kung gagamit ako ng external microphone. O, di ba mas malinaw at klaro ang boses ko? May iba't ibang uri ng external microphones na madalas ginagamit sa TV production. Ang isa sa pinakasikat na uri ng microphone sa TV production ay ang boom microphone. Ito ang madalas ninyong nakikita behind the scenes na hawak ng isang soundman. Nakalagay ito sa mahabang boom pole at itinututok sa TV presenter para mai-record ang kanyang sinasabi. Ganito ang itsura ng boom microphone. Kung gagamit po tayo ng boom microphone sa inyong mga shoot, siguraduhin hindi nakikita sa camera ang nakatutok na mikropono sa TV presenter. Ang lapel microphone ay isang uri ng microphone na maliit at madalas ay ikinakabit sa damit o katawan ng TV presenter. Tuwing may taping, itinatago ito sa loob ng damit ng TV presenter para hindi nakikita ng mga manonood. Pwede itong i-clip sa collar ng TV presenter o idikit sa loob ng kanyang damit. Kadalasan, Eucoplast tape cloth na nabibili sa mga pharmacy at drugstores ang kinakabit dito para pwedeng ilagay sa ating damit. Para malinaw ang sound na may re-record, ilalagay ang lapel microphone sa ating dibdib, directly under the chin or baba ng TV presenter. Ganito nga ang itsura ng lapel microphone. Ito naman ang handheld microphone. Madalas ay ginagamit ito ng mga Pinoy kapag kumakanta sa videoke. Pero maaari din itong gamitin sa inyong content production. Idinisenyo ang mikroponong ito para magamit habang hinahawakan ng TV presenter. Ang ideal distance ng handheld microphone mula sa bibig ng TV presenter ay 6 inches. Pwede din namang gumamit ng microphone stand katulad nito kung ayaw niyong hawakan ang mikropono. Kung merong handheld microphone, meron ding tinatawag na head-worn microphone. Madalas ay nakikita ninyo ito na suot ng inyong mga paboritong singers habang sila ay sumasayaw. Pwede din kayong gumamit ito for your television lectures. Madalas ay isinasabit sa likod ng tenga ng TV presenter ang microphone na ito. Ganito ang itsura ng head-worn microphone. Ang huli at pinaka-budget friendly sa lahat ng mga microphones na maaari niyong gamitin sa inyong content production ay ang earphones with built-in microphone. Merong standard earphones na katulad nito. Meron din naman mga wireless earbuds katulad nito. Isuot ang earphones at pwede na kayong mag-record ng malinaw na sound gamit ang built-in microphone na ito. Kung magre-record ng audio directly sa camera phone nyo, ang gagamitin mong headset o microphone ay dapat may 3.55mm plug dahil ito ang standard size ng audio jack ng mga smartphones. Ganito ang itsura ng 3.5mm plug. Kung may extra smartphone ka, pwede mo ding i-record separately ang audio gamit pa din ang inyong earphones with built-in microphone. This will allow you to move away from your main camera phone dahil hindi na nakasaksak ang earphones mo sa main camera. Paano? Madali lang. Buksan po ninyo ang Sound Recorder app sa extra phone. Isaksak ang earphones sa inyong extra phone, isuot ang earphones, and press the record button. Pagdating sa editing, isi-sync lang ang audio file from your extra phone sa video file from your main camera phone. Oh, dali lang, hindi ba? Mga teachers, this ends our crash course on audio and sound. Tandaan po natin na para maging effective ang gagawin ninyong TV lectures, mahalaga na klaro at malinaw ang naririnig na audio o sound ng mga manonood.
That concludes our quick lesson on audio and sound. All right. So at this point, I do know that there are a couple of questions that have been coming in, and we would like to entertain these questions. Forgive us if it's a bit of an information overload. As Director Abanil mentioned a while ago, we need to fast track this capacity building for the DepEd TV project. And we want to be able to assess if this is a program that you indeed would want to be part of. And we are really, really hoping that you are going to say yes to this endeavor of ours. So I'd like to call in a guest, one of the members of the training team, to talk briefly about a lot of the things that we discussed. So we had basic production terminologies, the ideal environment that you can be shooting in, basic cinematography, intro to lighting, then intro to sound, and as well as the use of proper backdrops. So allow me to introduce, we have Raymond Generoso, 20 years in the broadcast television industry. He's been to ABS-CBN, TV5, GMA, Viva, and CNN Philippines as well. So director, we're going to be, he's been a director of many, many shows. And we're going to be taking in questions from those of you who are participating right now. So Direct, you have some questions that are coming in. Direct Raymond? Yes, you have questions coming in, Mark? Morning.
Yes, good morning. I'd like to say good morning to our teachers, superintendents, division staff from, I believe, from all over.
Yes.
And these personnel, I believe, they shoot for a living, perhaps,
Yes.
and they will be helping our teachers in this endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
So, katulad po ng sinabi ni Paolo kanina, some of you maybe alam na po yung aming ginagawa. Some of it, who has been here for a good solid 20 years in TV, moving around. Madami po tayong kilala sa mga regions. In fact, when magkasama kami ni Paolo sa GMA, we're doing the news in GMA 7, yung mga nasa regions na marunong sa media, meaning they are shooters, editors, there are videographers. Pag sa election po, kinakailangan namin yung mga services nila. Ang tawag po namin dyan sa news ay stringers. So I believe some of you, etong mga stringers na to, para ma-screen namin, minsan kung sino yung available sa particular area, maybe ang totoong tawag natin sa ating broadcast parlance ay racket. ang totoong racket nila ay nagsushoot ng kasal, ng binyag, minsan libing, or minsan sa local na cable nila or local channel in the regions. Sila po ang tinatap namin maging stringers. So sila, alam natin, makakatulong na po sa ating mga teachers who are not so much we have here. Siguro I'll address na lang one, si Miss Janet N. Arman. She didn't say where she came from. Ang sabi niya, good morning. Any recommended video editor app or PC and mobile app, please advise. Sige, I'll answer this muna, but we have a number of AVs po para sa inyo that actually answers this. But since this is on the board, and please I encourage yun pong kakapasok lang at yung ibang hindi pa nagtatanong ng mga kanilang questions or may suggestions, please post it sa inyong ano po, MS Live Events question board. So sabi ni Miss Janet, anong app? Actually, the one we are recommending would be yung tinatawag nating for Pro. And for those who are using PC or Mac, whether it be a laptop or a desktop, editing po natin sa Adobe Suite would be Adobe Premiere. Yan. Para dun sa mga nag-i-edit na po in our regions, nakatambal or ka-team or magiging ka-team po ng ating mga teachers in far-flung areas, I'm sure they are familiar because if they are shooting binyag or kasal or what have you, nag-i-edit na po sila sa something like an Adobe Premiere. So, familiar na po sila dyan. Meron din po kaming recommended specs na tinatawag namin na prosumer, meaning it's a consumer type specs for your laptops, but if you upgrade it sa yung mga specs like hard drives and memory and SSDs, pwede na pong lumaban ika nga doon sa matatawag na natin na pang-broadcast, because we all know yung mga broadcast companies natin, sa pananaw namin, even in kaming nasa broadcast industry, ang tawag namin sa kanila superior saka supercomputers. Bakit po? Kasi number one, ang bumubuo po ng mga computers ng mga nasa broadcast industry are engineers. 3 engineers actually. Yung electrical engineer for all the specs, saka para link for broadcast. Kasi eventually, Channel 13, which is one of our hosts, digital na po sila in the next few years, dapat digital ready na po tayo. So, yung mga supercomputers niyan, hindi natin matutumbasan because they are only recommend are those you can buy in your respective areas, and we recommend specs on how to upgrade them para equip na din po sila ng outplay o play out, play out na pang broadcast. Eventually, if you will shoot and then edit from your end. Okay, Paolo, can I share some slides?
Sure.
Para sa kanila, baka they have a question. Okay. Para dun sa mga nagtatanong po, kasi kanina pinakita po natin yung ating AV or dahil sa, alam niyo yung terminologies, audiovisual material, ang papakita ko po sa inyo ay very basic. At ito po ay mahanap ninyo po sa ibang lugar. Because I will address one question there, Paolo. Sabi, ano po, meron po ba kayong marirecommend na studio kit? Paano kami mag-set up sa aming mga lugar? Sabi Pao. So, to answer that, iduduktong lang po natin to. Can they see the slide na, Paolo?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Para dun sa nakakakita ng slide, ang very basic na discuss po ni Paolo sa kanyang AV, yung tinatawag natin na white background o sa aming sa TV terms, white backing. Madalas po itong ginagamit because it is versatile. Kung magko-chroma kayo, pwede kayong mag-white sa likod, babatuhan nyo ng green light, magiging chroma na po siya. At kung mag-shoot po kayo ng tinatawag nating B-rolls, I'm sure some of you understand it. Yung B-rolls is yung support video natin habang tayo ay nagvo-voice over or nagsispill. Lahat ng mga props na yan, pwede nyong i-shoot using the white backing as your background. So very basic. So sa mga palengke o sa mga textile warehouses sa inyong region, meron ng ganyan. Ang suggested size po namin, kung halimbawa mag-shoot kayo sa bahay or mas sa school nila, 12 by 12 po ang recommend namin. Because it's versatile. It's not big enough, but it's not small enough na para tayuan ninyo and maging background ninyo. Yan. With the white cloth, madami ding nagtatanong, maski Paulo, dun sa sa headquarters, sa DepEd. Nagtatanong sila, "Sir, bakit parang may echo?" Number 2, hindi soundproof. Pero meron po tayong mga alternative, di ba, Paulo, na ginagamit pag nagsiset up tayo ng mobile studio or makeshift DIY studio sa ibang lugar na hindi talaga siya studio. Alam niyo po ang ginagawa namin sa broadcast industry, teachers, superintendents, at alam po ito ni Paolo. Naglalagay po kami ng tela malapit po sa bubong. Nagiging soundboard po siya. Yung echo, pag pumalak pa kayo, hindi po siya tatank. Na-absorb po siya ng tela. So ganun lang po. Ganun na yung may mga eggshell na nakapalibot. Merong mga, tawag natin, budget meal ways para magawa natin ng paraan. Halimbawa, yung yung problema sa echo. Black backing is the same as white backing or white background because it is versatile. Ang recommended namin, usually when we do shoots, bakit kami nang black backing? If nagsushooting sa we make yung eksena namin night, maski ito ay during daytime. Pero magagamit nyo to dahil pag-deflect ng mga merong mga bintana because nag-shoot kayo sa isang multi-purpose hall. Pero para mailawan nyo ng tama, kailangan binibihisan po ng black backing. Ang recommended po namin sa black backing, again, 12 by 12, para versatile. Pag pumunta kayo sa tindahan ng mga textiles, dalawa lang po ang tatandaan natin na para makapili ng tama. Yung thickness. Kailangan hindi tatagos ang ilaw. Ang whether sunlight or flashlight. Kasi tinatanggal po natin yung ilaw para ng daytime para mailawan natin yung ating setup kasi it should be controlled lighting. Mamaya di-discuss natin po yung mga klase ng ilaw na pwede natin bilhin. At magiging best friend na po natin, Paolo, ang Lazada and Shopee. For those dun sa mga malayo. Yan ang magiging best friend nyo, si Kuya Will. So back to yung ating black background na tela, kailangan din 12 by 12 para kung ililipat nyo, hindi pa masyadong mabigat at pag sinabit nyo, hindi din siya madaling mahulog. I'm sure meron din po kayo itong clip na to. Itong slide na to, makikita nyo meron tayong mga clips or yung rings. Maski kami sa TV, ginagamit po namin to para sa ating mga black backing, white backing. I'm sure meron sa school nyo yan, sa mga offices, sabit. Pero kung if you are on a semi-permanent room po na gagawin nyo pong studio, di gawin nyo na siyang parang cortina. Pero bakit parang? Kasi hindi dapat magkaroon ng lukot katulad ng cortina. Kasi baka gawin nyo siya sa ibang paraan. Pero when you use the black or white backing, ganun lang, diskarte lang kung paano nyo isasabit. And then kanina, I think, Paolo, para I'll just run through this, our slide. Oy, baka may question po sila. Feel free po to message us dun sa ating ating MS Live. So, under basic cinematography,
Pero
Yes.
direct, let's talk about yung equipment na para
Yes.
kasi most of the questions are geared towards the kind of equipment, ano ba yung kailangan nilang mga bilhin. Pero again, Raymond, gusto natin emphasize, di ba, direct na as much as possible, hindi kailangan bumili. Kung maaring humiram o makiusap doon nga sa mga kasal-binyag living na tinatawag natin. And because ang balak natin is maging long-term itong pagtatayo ng studio for DepEd TV in the future, even after the pandemic, when we're all praying that it's over. Makakabisita tayo direct dun sa mga studios nila. We can assess, we can evaluate, and we can help them build it even further. But in the meantime, ang maaaring mangyari nga dyan ay pwedeng maging virtual muna ang pag-consult nyo sa amin. Di ba, direct? Titingnan natin, papakita nyo sa amin via live, either Zoom or whatever it may be, para makita namin ang setup ninyo and we can give you tips. Ang mangyayari dyan, you're gonna be taking a test footage, and then pag pinadala nyo sa amin, we can tell. Pag tingin namin sa footage, ay kailangan pa ng dagdag ilaw dito o i-angulo mo ng ganito. There are some issues, for example, tulad ko, nakasalamin ako. Pag dito sa aking tahanan, yung lighting ko hindi naman siya perfect. Pero pag nandun ako sa studio, syempre mas maganda siya. So pag may salamin, kadalasan nakikita niyo may mga glare. That's coming from the two lights that I have here with me. So those are the things that we're going to be addressing as well. Yung concern, direct, mostly is regarding the equipment. So siguro punta tayo doon.
Yan. Okay, can I start na?
Sure.
We have very practical recommendations, di ba, Paolo, for them.
Yes.
Sabi nga natin, merong entry level, yung kaya nyo nang magamit immediately at pwede na. But if may budget ng konti, meron tayong recommended mid-range. Yan. And then, of course, isi-share din natin sa kanila yung ginagamit naman nga natin ngayon na broadcast na broadcast standard na. Ito yung yan. If they can see, I'm sure dun sa mga nagsushoot ng ng kasal at binyag, yung DSLR cameras in the regions ginagamit na nila. One of these are yung Canon D series from 60D, 7D series. Merong mga Nikon din, mga 350 series, and yung mga pwede na nating sabihing entry level. Bakit po yan ang pinakamababa na marirecommend namin? Ang important lang po, mga teachers, editors, shooters, sa TV ngayon, because dalawa na po ang merong klase, yung HD, high definition, saka standard. Yung sa ating pong IBC 13, 8 SD pa lang po siya standard definition, pero lumalabas po tayo sa signal at eventually lalabas po tayo sa GMA 7. So naka-HD na po sila. So kailangan yun na po yung standard natin. And yung minimum requirement for a camera would be yung DSLR na may 1080p. Yon. So in the future future webinars, we can discuss yung yung mga sukats ng yung mga frames, bakit yun ang recommended natin. So dun sa mga DSLR, I'm sure familiar kayo, merong Nikon D series, Canon D series, saka Nikon. Basta ang importante, naka 1080p. Yung 1080 po, ito po yung size po, halos 2K na size. At ito po yung gagamitin natin sa pang-edit natin na we can napasado sa HD because it's 2K, and then ibababa natin siya for SD or standard definition for channel 13, for solar, and for channel 4.
So I'm sure medyo information.
So, merong mga entry-level DSLR cameras, yung ibang mga... Sige pa, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure medyo information overload yung mga nakikinig direct. But then, importante po ito mga kaibigan na kailangan makita po ninyo yung scope po ng gagawin namin. we're mentioning certain pieces of equipment na sana may access kayo para pag mag-record man kayo at naipasa nyo sa amin o na-edit po ninyo, ay tiyak na i-ere po yung mga episodes ninyo at pasado doon. Hindi lamang po sa standards namin, kundi sa standards ng television network. Kasi sila mismo may mga standards po sila na kapag may pinasa tayo, ay maaring hindi talaga i-ere yung episode. The network has a choice to just ignore the videos that we send them. No? So what Direct is doing right now is he's mentioning all of these recommended. No? And what we're going to do is we're going to come up with simple text also. This is basically for the visuals. Ito yung para sa webinar. Pero gagawa rin kami ng simple text para may guide po kayo para maaari tayong magabayan sa paghanap ng iba't ibang mga equipment na kailangan. So ulitin ko, di kailangan bumili. I'm sure meron dyan mga kasal binyag libing na pwedeng atkilahin kapag at a good price, definitely, kapag kailangan na natin mag-shoot ng mga episodes natin. I know that there are some of you in the divisions, in the regions that have exerted efforts to put up studios, and that's great. You have found partnerships or signed partnerships with cable networks that are local, which is great as well. So ang goal namin is to make sure na whatever you build is A, for the long term, and B, for national broadcast on television yan. So yun ang habol natin for the national broadcast. So Direct, go on.
Yes, coming from yung sinasabi nating entry level DSLR, kanina merong nakita tayo na nagtatanong ng frame rate. Kaya po ito ang minimum requirement namin because can handle yung 1080p. 1080, ito po yung sukat ng frame, yung P po yung progressive. Eventually, baka ma-overload kayo kasi may progressive and interlace. I-discuss po namin tong mga pixels na to eventually sa inyo once we get settled with the basics po. So, ang recommended namin mid-range, yung nako, may konting budget tapos pwede na. At kung nadidinig niyo po yung tinatawag nilang mirrorless camera, it's the same as DSLR. Ang mirrorless po kasi, yun, again, wala na siyang mirror sa loob na nakabaliktad. Basically, mas magaan po siya as mas yung mga mirrorless camera na mga bago, katulad po ng Sony 6000 series, Wi-Fi ready na po siya at pwede din po siyang gawing webcam. Kaya 2-in-1, tas napakagaan po niyang dalhin, tas very versatile ang kanyang mga lenses. Yan, eventually i-discuss din po namin ni Paulo saka yung aming mga cameraman, yung mga recommended lenses po natin na very basic. Again, we don't have to buy everything. We just have to buy the things that we need at yung very basic lang po at essential. So, kanina na okay, sorry Paulo.
Magandang minention ni Direct Raymond na pwedeng gamiting webcam. But what does that exactly mean? It means na yung ganun kagandang quality video, imbis na ganito tulad na nakikita niyo sa webcam ko mula sa aking laptop. And normally laptops have one of the lousiest webcams ever, no? So ang ginagawa ng iba, bumibili ng external webcam, no? But if you actually have this camera, DSLR or mirrorless, at magamit mo siya as a webcam, napakaganda po. Kasi pwede niyo na gamitin yan para sa mga webinars ninyo, pwede niyo gamitin para sa mga online lessons, other than television. And immediately, iba po kasi yung dating talaga, especially if we're talking about the learners. Ang learners kasi natin ay napaka-sophisticated na po. And when I say napaka-sophisticated, exposed na sila sa magandang quality, exposed na sila sa magandang video, graphics, and we'll be talking about this also later on, no? And because they're exposed to that at sanay na sila sa ganun, kailangan yun ang pantayan natin. Yung nakasanayan nila, nakagisnan nila, dapat pag may mga video lessons tayo or even mga webinar or even mga online television, online lessons rather, dapat may kagandahan din ang pag-produce natin. I know that some of you are probably thinking, hindi naman kailangan yan kasi lesson lang naman. But remember, it's so much harder to keep the attention of the learner because they have the option to close the laptop, they have the option to change the channel if we're talking about television, they have the option to just decide to play if they don't find what they're listening to as appealing, engaging, or compelling. So yun ang isa sa mga challenges na kailangan talaga nating harapin. And you know what? Until magsimula na talaga ang blended learning ng DepEd, dun lang natin makukuha ang feedback. Dun natin makukuha ang reaksyon ng ating mga learners. If this is really something na maari nilang kapulutan ng aral, maari maging option doon sa ating face-to-face. Again, nothing is really going to beat face-to-face, and we know that. But because of the situation we're in, we have to make do with what we have to make sure na safe po ang mga kabataan, ang mga learners natin, safe po yung mga teachers natin, and everyone in the school is safe and protected. So because we're in this situation, kailangan natin i-address yung mga concerns, hindi lamang po ng mga learners, kundi pati na rin ng mga teachers, mga principals, mga division heads, mga superintendents, lahat po ng bumubuo ng DepEd. We have to address those concerns para po pag ginawa natin itong DepEd TV program, this is for the long haul. Kumbaga longevity ang habol natin dito. So if you are going to be setting up studios, ang gusto namin ay either one time, big time mag-set up kayo, or you set it up building it in such a way na pwede nyong pagandahin at i-upgrade as you go along. And that's the reason why Direk and I are discussing this with you para pag meron kayong kinuhang equipment, ang maaaring gawin nyo na lang is magdagdag na lang unti-unti. Kasi yun ang mangyayari as opposed to magpa-purchase kayo ng maramihan tapos bigla na lang hindi pala siya upgradable or sayang lang kasi it's the wrong specs na gagamitin. So we want to make sure that if there's any purchases that will be made, if there's any equipment that will be borrowed, we want to make sure na ito yung tamang equipment. So doon sa mga nagtatanong, will you get a list of recommended equipment? Yes, we will be sending that list over. Once this webinar is over, we will construct that list at may bibigay po namin sa inyo para pwede magsimula yung kumbaga shopping po ninyo. So Direk, go ahead.
Yes, tama ka, Paulo, kasi alam natin, iba-iba yung purchasing process nila, iba-iba din yung purchasing power, at iba-iba din yung available resources, lalo na sa malalayong regions. Kaya, nabanggit ko kanina, magiging best friend natin ang Shopee, ang Lazada, at down to the detail, pwede kayong magtanong, Sir, pupunta kami ng NCR, bibili kami, saan ba pwedeng bumili? Pwede namin sa inyo ibigay maski yung website eksakto nung aming mga alam na pwedeng bilhan na prosumer products. Because if we go for the high end and yung tamang specs talaga na recommended ng network, medyo pricey po. Pero again, mamaya makikita nyo, magbabrowse ako sa audio equipment, papakita ko sa inyo kung bakit sobrang practical. Meron kaming ginagamit na audio for TV. I think we've been using it for 10-15 years. Nabaksak na siya, naulan na, naputikan. Gumagana pa din. At yun yung pinaka-practical from our end. But again, bibigyan po namin kayong options. Kung hindi afford sa ngayon, ano yung direct? Pwede na ba to? Ano yung Sir Paulo? Pwede ba namin gamitin to? Papasa na to? Meron din po kami. So, let's go to audio since nandun na tayo. Again, I'm sorry I have to put this as the example para po sa atin. I'm sure there are a lot of ibang equipment na iba yung brand, but ako, dahil nasubukan ko na siya at nasubukan ko po yung iba, yung brand po nito ay Zoom. Hindi po yung webinar, pero yung Zoom na digital audio recorder. Bakit po siya yung napili ko na practical for us? Because meron siyang entry level, yung please look at the screen po, mga teachers, mga sir, mga ma'am. Yung pinakamaliit po, nasa left, makikita nyo, ang tawag po doon, H1. Ito po yung digital recorder na iisa lang. Meaning, isa lang ang one channel only. At pag kayo ay nagsispill o nagsasalita in front of the camera with a lapel or a lavalier mic, whether it's handheld or it's pinned on you, pwede na pong i-record dyan. At ang anong maganda dyan, mare-record natin, mabababaan natin yung input level, yung pagpasok po ng audio, at ma-regulate po din natin yung ating monitoring level, meaning kung paano natin nadidinig sa ating end. And then, of course, it has recording functions. Ang kailangan lang po natin dyan ay micro SD. Sa akin, yan po ang minimum. Bakit po? As we were, yan, meron po si Paolo, ayan H1, Zoom H1 digital audio recorder. Meron po kasi na experience namin, ang ginamit po nila nung nag-record po sila sa kanilang makeshift studio ay straight to the computer. Tapos nung ini-edit po namin, we learned na merong buzz, may hum, because it might be dun sa pag-fluctuate po ng ng ating kuryente. So, ganun din sa TV, we recommend na yung video, as much as possible, separate to the audio para mas ma-monitor natin. I'm sure meron gumagamit sa inyo ng audio straight to cam. Pwede din po. Pero kung wala lang pong ganito, because napag-aralan po din natin yung mga DSLR cameras, pag dinaretso po natin yung tinatawag nating baby PL doon sa kanyang audio, pag pumasok po doon, wala po siyang regulator eh. Hindi po natin siya masyadong nag-a-adjust maski na eventually yung mga technicalities like recommended dB, yung negative 6 dB, negative 12 dB na recommend na audio level po ng ating mga TV stations, i-discuss natin. Pero going back to the Zoom, dahil meron pong tinatawag entry level, yung pangalawa po dun sa left ay makakapagpasok po siya nung dalawa. So pag may interview po, left and right, dalawa pong magkausap. Yung nasa gitna po, 4. Yung nasa far right po, dyan sa sample natin ng Zoom, 4 channels. So pwedeng a panel interview at yung taas po niyan may left and right na Zoom. So kung ready na kayo dun sa pinakamataas, I think ang price range niyan today would be something like 22 pababa. Ang pinakamamura na lang po yata yung H1, it's around 5 or 6K now in the market. Yan. Pag dun sa naman wala pong boom, pero gumagamit po ng recorder ng ating cellphone. Siyempre lahat po tayo may cellphone at magda-download lang po tayo ng recorder app. Ang rinirecommend po natin yung Rode Smart Lavalier. Bakit? Kasi pwede siya pumasok dun sa mic input ng ating cellphone. Pag makikita nyo, please look at this closely. Importante po ito. Bakit 3 po yung linya doon po sa baby PL? Usually, 2 lang po yan. It's left and right. Yung flat, yung black, or yung silver, or yung gold, would be yung tinatawag natin na ground. Bakit dyan 3? Bakit? Kasi pasukan niya ng mic. Kasi usually, yung phone po natin, pag pinasok po natin yung phone, tapos syempre may kausap tayo, video call, what have you, merong earphones, left and right, and then yung audio. So, yan po, applicable dito at makaka-record na kayo. Dahil wala siyang earphones, audio lang po ang papasok sa kanya. Importante ma-monitor nyo. So, wala kayong Zoom, hindi pa kayo nakakabili, pwede na po yung phone, pero ang gamitin nyo po itong Smart Lavalier. Medyo pricey din ng konti, pero may marirecommend tayong supplier na bibigyan namin kayo ng sites. Yan, makikita yun, pwede nyo nang i-record. But that is the bare minimum because we want it na syempre gagamitin po natin yung ating audio nyo for TV and medyo mataas yung technical capability na rinire-require po nila. Okay, yung Smart Lav. Katulad nung sinabi ko, why is it recommended and versatile? Pwede din siyang diretso sa inyong DSLR cameras, even mirrorless. Yan. And yan, Smart Lav and H1 recorder. Pasensya na po dun sa mga hindi technically adept. Bibigay naman po namin tong slide sa inyo and we have various audiovisual presentations where we will post and you can play and pong
Direct.
Smart Love adapter kasi kailangan po yan para sa inyong phone. Yes, Paolo, sorry.
Gagawa tayo direct ng ng FB page para sa lahat po ng mga participants today kasi ang nais po namin ay kung may mga tanong po kayo na hindi natanong during this orientation/webinar ay maaari niyong i-post po doon yung mga questions ninyo at kung meron na kayong mga sineset up ng mga studios, ang gagawin natin direct is we're gonna ask them to post photos of those studios kasi kami pag nakita namin yung itsura, we can already recommend based on the photos. And then if we need further a further evaluation, then we'll request you to send videos naman. So ang mangyayari is everything that Direk is talking about, the audio, the video, kailangan makuha natin yung quality na gusto natin, yung standards na hinahabol natin para sa television national. And pag nagkataon pa na yung studio na ginagawa ninyo ay may mga teacher broadcasters na malapit, no, nasa Karatig bayan o anuman, pwede silang bumiyahe papunta doon sa studio para doon mag-record, ay malaking ginhawa at malaking tulong po yan sa ating mga teacher broadcasters. Again, the volume na kailangan natin i-produce, unprecedented, never done before. Si Derek Raymond's been on television for 20 years, never been done before. And ni Marge, our project director, talagang nagugulat kami sa scope. Pero again, we're up to the challenge because we want to be part of history. And that's the reason why we're doing this. Again, pasensya na po kung medyo information overload. There's just so much to absorb. But we will be posting the videos, yung mga videos na nakita niyo po kanina. We'll be posting that doon sa FB page na gagawin po namin. We'll give you the exact name of that FB page para po lahat po ng ating mga iba't ibang mga participants ngayon. I'm trying to look for the title. Is it going to be DepEd TV Technical and Production Team? Basta we'll post na lang po. Gawa na po namin yung page na yan. So sige, Direk, what else do we have to discuss? We have audio. Ano pang laman ng presentation mo? Ito yung Boya, ito yung sikat na wired lavalier naman yan. Yung lavalier is the actual term for what people say lapel microphone. Kasi kinakabit kadalasan sa lapel ng ating mga damit or ng jacket, no? But it's actually a lavalier. Yan ang tawag sa kanya. So this Boya is wired naman. Napakahaba ng kable niyan. Ilan feet? Parang 30 feet yata. Kaya napaka convenient kung kunyari nag-shooting kayo, pwede malayo siya dahil mahaba nga yung kable. It's less expensive than yung mga wireless na mga na mga equipment. And again, it serves its purpose talaga. Go ahead, Direk.
Yes, thank you, Pao. Bakit ko po sorry, let's go back again to ating audio. Kanina, I think Sir Genesis, one of the moderators here, sinabi sa atin na meron na tayong 1,282 participants. Hello po sa inyong lahat. Sana wag po kayong antokin. At message lang po kayo sa board. Pag may tanong, we will answer it sa abot po ng aming makakaya. Of course, we are all learning. We're talking about technology, and technology is upgrading every now and then. Every day may bago. Baka nga yung iba sa inyo, mas alam yung ibang brands sa amin. So let's share this knowledge for everybody, for everyone. But kami naman, with our experience and the technical know-hows and knowing the industry standard, we will share everything that we know so far para po sa inyo, para tayo ay talagang teacher broadcaster na tandem na po. Yan. So, ang DepEd ngayon, currently, according to Sir Mark C. of DepEd, ginagamit nila Saramonic. Sabi ko, Sir Mark, pwede na po yan. Sa totoo lang. Ang Saramonic ngayon, siya na yung entry level na matatawag. I think this pair, kung makikita nyo, 2 transmitter, 1 receiver. Ganyan ang ideal. Dalawang nag-uusap, kung may interview portion kayo sa inyong sa inyong mga episodes, dalawang magkausap, tapos may isang receiver. Doon sa receiver, mag-out kayo ngayon doon sa minention namin ni Paulo kanina na H1 recorder. Doon papasok yung audio nyo. So, okay, that's number 1. Because 2 transmitters, 1 receiver, that's recorded na separately ang audio. Ano yung mid-level na mare-recommend natin? Ang name po nito, Rode Transmitter with Lavalier. Pag pinair po yan, one-on-one, I think this would be the mas malayo yung range, yung room. May ibang gumagamit ng mic doon, maaring masagap, magkaroon ng interference. It's the same as signal as yung ating radyo, the broadband. Pero very wide yan, di ba? Kung sa radyo may 600 kHz hanggang 1,000, hindi naman po magtatama. It's the same as the signal as yung ating, pag meron tayong, kotse, we have car keys. Ganon din po. But with the digital, mas malawak yung spectrum ng digital, mas less ang interference. On the practical side, bakit digital yung recommend ko? Ang digital kasi, alam mo kung meron o wala. For example, dito po sa road, pag nagsispills kayo or yung tinatawag na stand-upper outside the classroom, ang connection po ng audio ay, again, we are sorry po dun sa mga hindi technically adept, pero para dun sa medyo alam na, makakatulong po talaga to sa kanila, yung ang nagko-connect siya, nasi-strengthen yung connection kung meron pong line of sight. Meaning, ito pong transmitter ko, nagkikitaan sila. Hindi na ba-block ng wall, ng dingding, ng puno, ng classroom door, yung line of sight kung saan nakakabit yung aking transmitter. Mas malakas po yun. Ang audio recorder na ito, na digital, lang yung sa kanya, kung putol, may static. So, ganun lang po yung difference. But for now, this is good for what we will be doing for the episodes because nasa isang studio, maliit at enclosed area lang po tayo. So yan, this is the set. Actually, doble. Kung 22,000 yata yung Saramonic, yung Rode 22,001. So a pair would be like what, 40, I guess. Yan. So yan yung next. And then yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na very practical, but this is in our wish list. Maski sa amin, we cannot buy this just mabilisan over the counter. Yung Sennheiser, because ito ang broadcast standard. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na ginagamit na namin. 10-15 years na naulanan, nahulog sa putek, naalikabukan, naupuan. Pag nagmamadali, gumagana pa din. Imagine if you buy this on 60K, and magagamit mo siya in 10 years, I think that's practical enough. Pagdating naman po sa lights, madami na po kasing brand. Sa last research po namin, together with our cameramen and lighting people, tinanong ko ano ba mga magandang brand na i-recommend dun sa ating mga teachers, broadcasters, lalo na yung in our other regions outside NCR. Sabi niya, direct, ang dami ng China na magaganda ngayon. At iba'y, paano natin siya gagamitin? Saan natin siya gagamitin? Yung pinakamaliit na minimum natin, meron tayong ma-recommend whatever brand that you may see in Lazada or in Shopee or in other websites, 25 pins na LED. Doon sa isang AV na discuss po natin yung kung ano po yung LED. This we recommend with a barn door. Bakit? Para kung masyadong matapang, liliitan ninyo. Kung kailangan nyo ng mataas, mabubuksan po ninyo. And then, meron din po tayong mga suggested na practical things on how to soften this. Si Paolo, ginagamit yon. Meron tayong tinatawag na light box. Kung wala tayo nun, again, yung white cloth na sinabi natin kanina, kung meron po kayong maliliit na panel, ihaharap nyo lang po yan sa harap nung LED. Ang tawag po namin doon sa technical term sa TV, lumalambot ang ilaw. Magiging para kayo ng melchanko. Yung glowing ang inyong skin. Yung mga pores nyo hindi masyadong makikita maski oily kasi ang lambot ng baksak ng ilaw sa inyo at pantay. So yun po yung mga daya. Again, yung ilaw very practical lang tayo. Whatever brand, ang basic 250 pins, ang next niyan 500 pins. Meron din siyang option for na battery. So kung naglalakad, tumatakbo, meron kayong ganyan, mahahawakan nyo, sumusunod dun sa subject. Eventually, when you shoot, you will be working with this. And meron din po siyang dalawang klaseng kulay, I believe, lalo na yung sa 10,000 pins. Ito, good for studio na, I mean, ito na yung pwede na nating sabihin, ay, settled na ako, okay na ako. If I have 10,000 pins, I can adjust it down and up, and comfortable na ako doon sa gagawin yung studio. May 10,000 pins, meron siyang white and tungsten. Tungsten, ito po yung medyo dilaw for good na matatawag natin na timpla ng ilaw. I think that would be it from this end of the technical, Paul. So I'll stop my my sharing. Thank you very much for those who listened. Pag meron pong hindi na masyadong may questions po, Paolo, Director Abanil, and I, and the other from DepEd will be very happy to address your questions po.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Direct Raymond. So the Facebook page, Direct, is DepEd TV channel, Technical and Production Team. So once again, DepEd TV channel, Technical and Production Team. So please write that down, and then when you can, please add yourselves to that or follow that particular Facebook group, so that you can post the pictures of your makeshift studios, so we can make it even more professional. Now, why are we emphasizing on the technical aspect? A focus group discussion was conducted a couple of weeks ago, and some of the findings, aside from the student giving feedback on the kind of lesson, on the tone of the teacher, there was an emphasis on the technical aspects. Now, I want to share with you a video, and I deliberately shot this the wrong way, but I also want to be able to emphasize that in shooting this video, I want to show the wrong way to shoot, for example, with a phone. Why not we show the kind of setup that we have here in NCR? So this is a studio that was built for this DepEd TV project. It used to be a restaurant, but it had a nice high ceiling. And so when we saw it, we thought, okay, maybe we can put a green screen, maybe we can put lights, and we can make it work. So again, for those of you who are part of the technical team listening right now, we'll go through the video once, and then we'll pinpoint the various pieces of equipment that were used, some of which Direct Raymond mentioned. And then let me see. Okay, here we go. So this is, as I mentioned, a video that I shot using my cell phone. And the first thing, normally when you're shooting with a cell phone, Direct, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. So when you're shooting with a cell phone, if you shoot it this way, your image will be that way. So that's the first mistake. You cannot air this on television. Why? Look at the sides. It's all black, right? Now, aside from that, here's the emphasis on audio. You will be able to hear what I'm saying. But again, because you're using the cell phone camera audio, there's a hum, there's a hiss, there are sounds that aren't supposed to be there. It's not as crisp and clear as this kind of audio that you're hearing, all right? But for presentation purposes, and to give an example, and to also show you the kind of setup that we have here in the studio, it's very simple. It's not expensive. Here we go.
Kasi na, may audio ba siya, Paul?
So right now the audio is really weak. You can't hear it so much. But basically what I'm talking about here is we're talking about the system that we're using. Let me lower the volume. So what we're talking about here is the computer, which has OBS. OBS is free software that you can install on the computer, and that will serve as your recorder. What Sir Bads, let me just lower the volume. What Sir Bads is talking about here is there's a speaker so that when we play back, we can listen for any audio interference. We can listen for any, for example, if the teacher broadcaster touched the lapel and it made a sound, right? So that's the simple setup. You have a computer, a desktop, where you have OBS, which is Open Broadcaster software, and then the script is also there on a separate laptop. And then there's also a physical hard copy script on paper. So as you can see, the lighting, so that's our teacher broadcaster. And what she's going to be talking about is the use of a teleprompter, right? Now, the teleprompter is very important because remember, we talked about the length of the lessons being 25 minutes. So that is the prompter. It's not big. It's very small, very compact. It's not expensive. It's a huge help for the teachers. So essentially what it is, you have the tablet or a cell phone where you have the script, and then you have a reflective surface where an inverted image of the text is reflected so that when you're reading it, it becomes the right way. So this is Teacher Pam. I'm sure some of you have seen her on some of the episodes of DepEd TV. And what she's talking about is the huge help of having a prompter with her. So the prompter is operated by Sir Ariel over there by the side, so that the pace is just right. If she's going too slow or too fast, he can adjust accordingly. But sometimes some prompters can just go automatic, and then based on the pace and the cadence that you have. So here I'm talking about the green screen. So the green screen, it's important that it is evenly lit. This is tela, or a piece of cloth. And what we have are two lights that are on each side so that they can evenly light the background. Napakahalaga na kung magi-green screen po kayo na pantay o walang mga hotspot ang ating background. So that's what I'm showing here. I'm adding a little more light to show that, okay, it's an even surface. And the subject has to be about 4 to 5 feet in front of the surface so it doesn't cast a shadow in the background. So this one is what we call the key light, or the more powerful light that is meant to illuminate one side of our subject. This softbox is called the fill light, which is meant to even out some of the shadows created by the key light or the main light. So again, here I mentioned that that softbox is not expensive. You can get a set of 2 for about 2,000 pesos. That includes a stand already. There I pointed out that there's another light that I put, and that's basically to cover the shadows here from her chin down, right? So here, what I'm talking about is the lapel. So what we are using is the Rode Wireless Go. Again, not an expensive system. It's a wireless microphone lavalier system. She has it on, and when our teacher broadcasters are recording, we want to make sure that the lavalier is not seen. So here, I'm showing you how small the receiver is. That's the receiver. And as you can see, it's connected directly to the camera. And the camera that we're using is called the Sony A6400, also mentioned by Direk Raymond in his presentation a while ago. Now, since it's connected directly, what I use is an HDMI capture card from the camera so that it can go directly to the computer, and you can record on the computer or the desktop or your laptop using OBS or Open Broadcaster software. We suggest this because in your workflow, it's easier and faster, as opposed to, say, for example, having an SD card, recording it on your camera, and after recording it, that's the time that you take it out and then you put it in for editing. When we use Open Broadcaster software, what happens is immediately you can record both the audio and the video, and we'll have a separate workshop just for OBS because it is very technical. It's not complicated, but it's very technical. It's very professional. in the way that it's structured and the interface. So you have to understand a little about what it means to be switching, or what it means to have a digital switcher. So here I show that the iPad is showing a different or an inverted image, but then when you're reading the prompter, you can see that it's the correct way already, so that the teacher broadcaster can read properly her or his script. Later on, I'll be showing you the entire process that has to be followed so that we're able to produce broadcast quality video. So again, I didn't put any audio in this. The audio is really awful because we're using just the cell phone camera. And because we use a cell phone camera and we didn't do it horizontally, we did it vertically, that's why you have black spots on the side. But basically, that's the kind of setup that we have space. And again, if we're going to start building a studio, let's think long term. Let's think this studio will be used for three things: for your local production, wherein you tie up with local cable networks so that you can have, for example, lessons in the mother tongue. And then you can have a studio, the same studio, that will be used for the national broadcast, right? So these are the TV lessons to be aired on IBC, Solar, and on Signal, and eventually, hopefully, when the deal is finalized, including GMA and PTV4. So we have Yusek Alain joining us in a while, and he would like to address everyone as well here during our workshop. But again, before we get to that, we wanted to show what the studio is like here in the NCR, and we wanted to show you also that it's not going to be expensive to build. And again, you have the Kasal, Binyag, Libing, where you can borrow or you can ask them to be part of the service. Or because you won't be recording too many episodes, then maybe they can be leased, or you can rent out their equipment, or you can contract them to serve as both cameraman, editor, and they can help all of the production needs of the various teacher broadcasters and the studios that would want to be part of DepEd TV. Now, we also have videos on basic video editing. We won't get into that, but Direct Raymond a while ago mentioned that as much as possible, we have Final Cut Pro if you're working with a Mac. If you're working with a PC, we're looking at Premiere Pro. And the reason why we need to have this kind of editing software is the formats with which we're going to have to translate all of our videos to, they're going to be increasing in number as we have more and more media partners and media channels for DepEd TV. Direct Raymond mentioned a while ago that for IBC, the format is different. For Solar, it's different also for Signal. And that is the reason why we need to be able to assess if the equipment that you have, together with the bandwidth or the internet speed that you have, will allow us to make our production timeline faster. Now, it's basically a crowdsourcing that we're doing right now. We are appealing to all of those out there who have editors or who have editing experience in graphics, experience in illustration, or being illustrators, as directors, and those who want to be producers. We want to invite you all to be part of the training program, which will last for a couple of months. But our commitment is after those 6 months, we are going to guarantee that you will be self-sustaining in terms of having your own studio. You can produce your own content. And at the same time, DepEd TV in the long term will be there with the right foundation, with the right basics, and it's really going to be built to last. So if there are any more questions, please do leave those questions in our Microsoft Teams, the live. Those who are listening right now, the questions were ranging from the technical. Some were asking about budget, that budget concerns rather. And later on, we're going to have Yusek Alain address those concerns. And oh, we have him with us right now. Yusek, good morning po.
Hello, good morning. Maliwanag ba ako?
Yes, loud and clear po.
Good. Yeah, thank you, Paulo, for explaining everything to all our DepEd family. Thank you rin sa lahat ng mga nandito. I heard it's more than 1,200 who are listening.
Yes.
Here in our video.
Yusek, nawala ulit yung audio po ninyo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Medyo
Ayan.
nakalabis ko. Oo. Gusto ko lang i-address ang ating mga superintendents na nandito ngayon, mga principals, mga teachers, IT officers all over all over the country. And since malaki yung ating audience ngayon, I would like to tell everybody that what we are doing now, this DepEd TV and DepEd Radio, is a program that we have instituted to be part, or we have introduced to be part of the blended learning that the DepEd will undertake during this time of pandemic. No? So ngayon, isa ito sa mga platforms na kung saan ang ating pag-deliver ng education ay maibigay natin sa ating mga mag-aaral. Isa itong TV at saka itong radio, katulad din ng DepEd Commons at saka yung learning management system. Lahat ito ay redundancies or lahat ito ay tutulong sa pagbigay natin ng blended learning o sa tinatawag natin na alternative delivery mode ngayong pandemic, no? Kasama ito dun sa modular approach, no? Kaya sinasagawa natin to. Medyo mahirap gawin dahil first time itong gawin ng DepEd at first time ng marami sa atin na maging magturo before the camera or before the no? Kaya gusto natin matuto sa mga nasa industriya na, sa mga personality na nasa industriya na kilala natin na lumalabas sa TV at radyo dahil yung kanilang experience kung paano ito patakbuhin ay malaki ang may tutulong para sa ating preparasyon. No? Hindi lang, meron din tayong mga training galing sa academy pero mga mostly theoretical yan. Mas marami tayong makukuha kung sa mga practical experiences ng ating mga kababayan din na willing naman tumulong sa DepEd. Kaya nandyan si Paulo Villones na tumutulong sa atin, si Lucy Valdez na tumutulong din sa atin at iba pa. Later on, sa mga teacher broadcasters na sinimulan na namin i-train, nandyan yung mga ibang TV personalities na kasama na natin. Marami yung mga yan. Anyway, to give you a general perspective what we are doing now, no? Ang namili tayo ng mga teacher broadcasters from among the ranks of our teachers. Meron tayo ngayon siguro mga 138 na teacher broadcasters na napili. Ayan ay batch 1 at saka batch 2 na tinetrain ngayon nila Paulo para makagawa sila ng mga TV episodes at saka mga radio episodes. No? We will be calling on another set of teacher broadcasters. Siguro kailangan pa natin ng mga 166 pa na teacher broadcasters. So total niyan mga 300. Para sa ganon ay lahat ng grade level at lahat ng subject ay mayroon tayong at least 3 teacher broadcasters para sa pagsasagawa ngayon. Pag ginawa ngayon yung mga TV episodes saka radio episode ay madali para sa kanila. Hindi kaya kung kakaunti lang sila, mahihirapan tayo dahil iba ang time na inuukol natin pagdating sa paggagawa ng mga TV at saka ng mga radio episodes. Kaya expand pa natin ito. But while we select teacher broadcasters who will be teaching in front of the camera, we are also asking the support of our division offices and our schools to provide technical support para sa ating mga teacher broadcasters. So kapag sila ay nagturo, pag napili silang teacher broadcaster, sila ang gagawa ng script, at sila yung magtuturo sa harap ng camera at sa harap ng mikropono. Ang hiningi natin dito sa ating mga division offices at sa schools ay bigyan sila ng suporta sa pamamagitan ng technical support, yung mga IT natin at saka mga ibang teacher na magre-record nung ginagawa niyang TV episode. So yung shoot, yung mag-shoot. Tawag natin dyan yung production team. o yung recording and production team. At after ng shooting, meron din tayong tinatawag na post-production team o ito naman yung editing team. Kailangan naman natin doon yung mga editors ng mga video editors. So I understand na itong grupo natin ngayon, 1,200 ang nandito. This will mostly be the technical support teams that we will be needing. Nandito yung magre-record at nandito yung mag-edit. Para sa ganoon matapos yung buong episode. So it's a collaboration between the teacher advisor, sa the talent na magsasalita, magtuturo in front of the camera, the recording group, yung magbi-video at magre-record ng kanyang ginagawa, at yung editing group na maglalapat ng mga graphics at magpa-finalize ng buong TV episode. That's the production team that we are looking at, no? From the teacher broadcaster to the IT officers to the editors. No? Ito yung ginagawa natin ngayon. No? Hindi nyo alam o hindi alam ng iba na hindi dito natatapos yung trabaho. Meron pa tayong tinatawag na supply line o dissemination line, distribution line after the episodes dahil ibababa pa ito sa mga TV stations, ibababa pa ito sa mga local cable stations, sa mga radio, at saka sa mga TV sa local level. And even before the teacher makes his or her script, meron din content line before that, no? Dadaan yan sa curriculum and instruction, gagawin yung MELT, nandun yung SLM, at aayusin pa nila yung laman ng mga episodes. So it's a big process. It's a large it involves a large network of individuals coming from DepEd, from the curriculum to the administration to the operation, involving the central office, the regional and the division, and also the schools. So ganyan kalawak yun ginagawa natin ngayon. Kapag si teacher ay nagsalita na sa harap ng camera, nandun na yung pangalan ni teacher, nandun na rin yung pangalan ng eskwelahan niya, at nandun na rin yung pangalan ng kanyang division at saka yung region. So, teacher yung makikita mo sa harap ng camera, pero ang dala-dala ni teacher ay yung buong DepEd, yung kanyang buong region, division, at saka ng school. Kaya it's a collective effort, it's a collaboration sa loob ng DepEd at sa mga partners natin na sa labas. And in my capacity as the USEC for Administration na in charge sa technology at dito sa trabaho natin ngayon, ang tinitignan ko rito is I will be recommending to the Secretary and to the EXICOM and even to Congress na itong DepEd TV at saka itong DepEd Radio ay magiging permanent fixture sa DepEd. Kumbaga ito ay sana manatiling isang strategic program para sa ganon ay makatulong ito sa pagde-deliver sa edukasyon, may pandemic crisis man o wala. No, ito yung nakikita natin. Kung kaya't yung ginagawa natin ngayon ay lubhang tutulong sa atin kung ito ay maging established office sa DepEd, whether it's a GOCC or a separate entity under the jurisdiction of DepEd. At para sa ganon ay maibigay natin yung education natin sa kaduluduluhang barangay at sa kaduluduluhang community at kahit na rin sa syudad. No? I-combine natin na lahat ito, radio, TV, DepEd Commons, Learning Management System, all in one undertaking in delivering quality education to our children. Kaya magandang nandito kayo lahat at inaayos namin ni Director Abraham yung mga memo at mga guidelines kung paano ang support natin sa ating mga teacher advisors at kung paano offices. So maganda na nandito kayo lahat. Nandyan si Ginoong Paulo, nandyan si Director Abraham. Magtulungan lang tayo. In workplace, pwedeng i-share mo na lang mamaya, Director Abraham o Rachel, o Mark, yung ating tama, parang ganun, support or assistance, na doon papasok lahat para sa ganun na ma-discuss natin yung tipo ng equipment o yung kailangan ng support sa editing, etc. Pwede natin ituloy doon yung pag-uusap. No? But ito lang, sumingit lang ako ngayon to give you some words kung ano yung ginagawa natin sa DepEd sa ngayon. At kung may tanong, doon nyo na lang i-post sa tanong sa group na yon para sa ganun makapag-usap tayo ng maigi. Salamat, Paulo. Thank you.
Thank you, Yusek Elaine. God bless
Thank you.
po. Ayan mga kaibigan, sana po sa lahat ng mga participants ay hindi lamang po kayo naliwanagan, kundi na-motivate at na-inspire po dito sa ating ginagawa. This project is unprecedented. This project is truly going to make history. And as Yusek Alain mentioned a while ago, this is something for the long term. And we're very excited at the prospect of having DepEd TV as a permanent fixture on television. Really, ang makikinabang dyan, ang panalo dyan will be all of our learners. We want to be able to give you a taste of what the teacher broadcasters are going to be experiencing. And as Yusek Alain mentioned a while ago, kailangan pa natin ng mas marami pang mga teacher broadcasters. We have almost 1 million or more than 1 million teachers all over the country. And we are very sure that there are many who are extremely capable, and please add yourselves to it. Oh, thank you dun sa ibang mga nagpa-add already. It's called DepEd TV Channel Technical and Production Team. Now, in the meantime, habang hindi pa natin naayos yung mga official na mga pages on Workplace, for example, dito muna tayo magko-coordinate. So it's called DepEd TV Channel Technical and Production Team. Dito you can reach out to us if ang tingin ninyo, ang capability po ninyo ay magtayo ng studio, ay meron kayong mga pwedeng mga editors na pwedeng ipahiram sa atin, o pwedeng gumawa ng mga TV lessons ng mga teacher broadcasters po na partners ninyo. Mga graphics editors, napakahalaga po yun, mga artists na ganyan, at mga illustrators. Dahil tandaan po natin, visual ang medium natin, and we do need to make sure that there have been studies that say that every 10 seconds, kailangan i-renew ninyo ang atensyon ng mga learners. And speaking of that, I wanted to give you a taste of kung ano yung mga papanoorin naman ng mga videos ng ating mga teacher broadcasters. And at the same time, this will also give you an idea of the kind of impact na gagawin po natin. So, television. She's a very familiar face, and I'm sure a lot of you, if not all of you, will know who she is. A very good friend of ours who is really excited to be part of the Teacher Broadcaster Training Program, and basically to be part of DepEd TV in its infancy. So here we go. This is Karen Davila to talk about the power of television.
Nasaan kayo nung nasusunog ang World Trade Center noong 9/11? Nasaan kayo nung magkaroon ng tsunami sa Japan? Nasaan kayo nung tinalo ni Manny Pacquiao si Oscar de la Hoya? Nasaan kayo nung mag-lava walk si Catriona Gray? Pwedeng na sigurado ako kung balita ang hanap ninyo. Sa telebisyon kayo nakatuon. Ako po si Karen Davila, isang news anchor at broadcast journalist. Natatandaan ko noon nung ako'y maliit pa, malaki ang naging papel ng telebisyon para ako'y matuto. Nanunood ako noon ng Sesame Street, Electric Company, Batibot, Kaluskus Musmos. Dito ko natutunan ang alphabet. Sa telebisyon, nakatutok ang bata. Entertain na siya at marami pang paraan para makuha ang atensyon niya. Katunayan, sa panunood ng telebisyon, dun ko rin nadiskubre yung hilig ko sa pagbo-broadcast. May hawak pa nga ako noon na brush. Naaalala ko, pagkatapos ginagaya ko noon yung napapanood ko sa Electric Company. At dun ko naisip na pwede pala ako maging broadcaster. Alam nyo, mga 8 or 9 years old lang ako noon. At dito natuklasan ko ang papel ng telebisyon na pwede ito maging teacher, maging entertainer, at makaturo pa sa kabataan sa panahon ng pandemya. Gumraduate po ako mula sa UP sa kursong Mass Communication. Ang unang trabaho ko po noon ay sa GMA7. Natatandaan ko ang unang trabaho ko sa Business Today. Isa po itong morning show at Natatandaan ko noon ang unang pagkakataon na ako'y lumabas sa telebisyon. Malaking break po sa aking buhay. Ang isang bagay na natatandaan ko na kapag ikaw ay lumabas sa telebisyon, ang lenteng ito ay napaka makapangyarihan. Kausap mo sa lenteng ito ay daan-daan, libo-libo, milyon-milyong tao. And that's what I appreciated about television. The power to communicate, the power to articulate, the power to educate, pwede mo gawin yon sa telebisyon. Sa totoo lang, hindi ko pinangarap maging broadcast journalist. Ang pangarap ko noon maging fashion designer. Pero palagi kong sinasabi ang kahalagahan ng isang teacher. Ang teacher po ay ang pangalawang newscaster. Kung ang sarili nating magulang hindi nadidiskubre ang ating angking galing, ang teacher sa eskwelahan ang nakakapagsabi sa atin, kung hindi dahil sa aking mga teachers, hindi po ako si Karen Davila ngayon. 27 years na po akong broadcast journalist. Mula po nung ako'y nagbibrigada 7, isang investigative journalist. Kapag ito po ay nasusolusyonan, nadiskubre ko po ang kapangyarihan ng telebisyon. Nung ako po ay umupo sa DZMM, mabilisan po ang komentaryo, umaaksyon po kaagad ang ating mga officials. Alam niyo po, nung ako po ay gumawa ng dokumentaryo at mga investigative reports, nakita ko po ang pagbabago ng mga bagay. Gumawa po kami ng mga expose tungkol po sa mga kabataan na kapag po sila ay nakukulong, sila po ay kung saan ipinagbawal po ng mga kabataan na kriminal ay hindi po sila makulong sa isang selda kasama po ang matatandang kriminal. Malaking bagay po ang papel ng telebisyon doon. At isa pa po ang programa kong Head Start. Iniisip ko noon ay cable ito, konti lang ang nanonood, pero hindi po. Pinanunood po ito ng ating mga decision makers. Sa mga maghihirap na interview, kapag hard-hitting ang mga tanong, kapag nilalabas po natin ang katotohanan, yun nga lang, marami po akong kaaway, marami po akong mga haters. Pero at the end of the day, alam ko po, ang katotohanan ay meron po itong kapalit. Kapag ang hinahanap po ay katotohanan, hindi po lahat ng tao ay ating kakampi. Natuklasan ko po na ang balita, nagbabago po ang maraming bagay kapag nilalabas po natin ang katotohanan. At nakikita ko po ito with the choices people make during elections and in their everyday lives. Sa ating mga mahal na teacher, unang-una, isang malaking karangalan po sa akin na maibahagi po sa inyo ang aking karanasan bilang isang broadcast journalist. Pero higit po niyan, malaking karangalan po sa akin na maging partner po ninyo sa proyektong ito. Alam nyo, deep inside, ako po ay isang frustrated teacher. Isa po akong educator in my heart. Kaya it's such a privilege na sa panahon na ito, ako po ay makatulong sa kahit anong paraan. And I'm just so excited and so happy to be a part of this project.
Yan po, kaibigan natin, Karen Davila, talking about the power of television. Ayan po. Very historic talaga ang ating gagawin. Itong balak natin, itong venture natin. It's truly very noble. And like we mentioned a while ago, ang makikinabang talaga ay yung mga learners natin. No? All of those students who are just hungry for knowledge, hungry for information, hungry to be motivated and inspired. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing now. One of the things that Karen talked about is the power of television to influence, the power of television to institute change. We can also add to that the power of television to instill proper values or to enhance or to solidify or to fortify the value system of the learners. And we actually encourage the teacher broadcasters to come up with ways in their TV lessons to inject these kinds of values, in their lessons, so that when the student watches, they don't only gain information, but they also get to learn what's right and what's wrong. They get to learn about basic tenets of decency, for example. And these are things that we actually encourage the teacher broadcasters to come up with. And for those of you out there, if you're going to be part of the teacher broadcaster program, if you're going to be part of the editing team, the graphics team, the illustrating team, or the production team as executive producers or associate producers, we really encourage you to think out of the box. We encourage you to come up with ideas and just let your imagination run wild. And at the end of the day, kami lang naman ang magsasabi na, you know, if pwede ba ang inyong ini-imagine, pwede ba ang inyong iniisip. So again, if you have any questions, we have Direct Raymond over there who's on standby to answer any questions. We have Director Abanil as well. If you have any concerns that you would like to be addressed. Yusek a while ago also mentioned that there are going to be there's going to be rather an opportunity for you to ask questions directly to him through a platform so that yung mga concerns po ninyo lahat ma-address. So we can answer your technical concerns, we can answer maybe some administrative concerns, we can answer some concerns with regards to the teacher broadcasters in your region, in your area, or in your division na maaring maging partner po ninyo sa ating endeavor na ito. So, Direk Raymond, are there any questions coming in?
Hello, Paolo. Hello, everyone again. I think we're more than 1,300. Kasi kanina, we're on 1,200 na yung mga participants. Yes, there are questions here, Paolo, given to us by Sir Genesis through the MS Live Q&A.
Yes.
Can I read some and then
yes,
maybe...
Please.
Yes, okay. But I'll just pick the ones which you and I can answer, and perhaps maybe some people from the DepEd can also address. Kanina, I answered the question from Miss Janet N. Arman. Yung kanyang sinabi niya, tinatanong niya pala na ano ang recommended na application? Yan. Hello, Sir Abraham.
Hello.
I'll just read a few, sir, and then just feel free to jump in po because some of the questions po are mixed with technical questions and also practical and DepEd related questions as well.
Siguro Raymond, Direct, let's start out with the DepEd related questions. I expect the technical we can be messaged naman dun sa Facebook page natin. Pero mas pressing siguro yung how they can get started. So the DepEd related questions, let's go through them. Also Genesis, if you see anything that needs immediate attention as well, maybe you can chime in and you can ask those questions on behalf of those participants who posted. We have the Director Abanil here with us.
Sige, can I read just one lang, Paolo, for us to address? Yes. This was 25 minutes ago from Miss Jessie Cabell or Ormoc. Hello, Miss Jessie. The medyo set up. How will this be funded? Sabi niya, Director Abanil, if local MOOE can be national office issue, can the national office issue a memorandum to enable sourcing of fund for local MOOE? But it would be better if national national office will provide for each. Perhaps you can address Sir Abraham po.
Yeah, mayong buntag sad sa mga taga-Ormoc. Well, right now we're still securing funds for this particular project, no. So we won't be able to purchase your own equipment. But for the moment, what we can do is we can release a memorandum that will allow give the divisions and the schools legal basis to make use of your respective MOEs to purchase equipment for this particular endeavor.
Equipment and the various kinds and models that you can look at. And when you see that list, that grocery list, basically, you're going to see, okay, so this is the total budget that we need to have the startup studio. And when we say startup studio, this is already for national broadcast. It'll be an investment that is for the long term. Again, we don't want you to be investing in something that you decided to go. So we're going to come up with a startup package, basically. So we can have the startup package, we can have a little more advanced, and then a pro package. Have a little more advanced, and then a pro package, so that as we go along, you can build upon your studio. And before you know it, because we have DepEd TV in the very near future happening as a permanent fixture, then at least you have a studio that can be accessed and can be used, can be a resource anytime. With that, Neil will disseminate to all of you out there. We'll also post it on our Facebook page so that you can have that list with you as the editing. So those are the 4 aspects that we need to cover. Studio, you just need the lighting, you need the graphics team and illustrator team. If there's an IT department there, and there won't be too many delays when it comes to production, then definitely we would love to have you part of the team. Director Raymond, any more questions that are DepEd related?
Yes, we have 3 right here. Will the school receive budget for studio, video equipment in our office, and video production equipment, and additional staff for ITOs?
Well, the framework that we're doing right now is will probably be downloading funds to the division office, and the division will have the discretion on whether they want to set up their studio inside the division office or in a school within the division. We will leave that up to the division officers. But again, I am still securing the funds that will allow us to purchase equipment down at the division level.
And definitely, Director, if they decide to do it in the school, it has to be a space that they imagine. School, it has to be a space that they imagine will be for the long term, right? Kasi napakahirap po na mag-set up tayo ng studio tapos gagamitin one time. So, evaluate your studios. Ang pinaka-ideal dyan is yung mga ilaw natin, nakasabit na yan, di ba? So they're not on the ground, there are no cables all over the place. For example, if there's going to be a DepEd caravan, and we're going to have a tour of the Philippines one day when this pandemic is over, we can use the studio for any of the uses, no? And this is really going to be such an exciting venture, because when DepEd TV, the channel, when it happens, and it will happen, we know it's going to happen, you're going to be needing 24/7 content. Ibig sabihin, 24 hours po dapat may lumalabas dyan. So that's a whole lot of lessons, a lot of TV shows that can either be locally produced, and that's going to be exciting for us sa standards ng DepEd TV. Then basically you've learned the art of TV production, and that's what we're trying to teach here. This is just an orientation, hindi pa nga ito yung training. Kasi yung training po natin is going to be very hands-on, and at the same time, talaga nakatutok po kami. Kaya kailangan natin mag-join na po kayo dito sa ating Facebook page. Once again, it's DepEd Channel, Technical and Production Team. Artists. And then the training team will be assigning editors and graphics artists to each and every one, or to each and every group na meron, para yung inyong learning is continuous. And you're also able to understand ano yung mga standards and ano yung mga formats na kailangan nating ma-adhere dito sa ating program na ito. Any other questions related?
Yes, merong 2 questions dito. Director Abanil, sabi ni Mick Mars, will the production team or the teachers have arrangement with their existing assignment or task? And this one, another related question to that. Sabi ng isa, as we provide assistance as editor, technical team, task be on top of...
Well, the current negotiations with our division group.
Yes, Direk Raymond, any other questions? Yes.
Yes, there's another one medyo related din po dyan dito sa, the selection process, yung kanyang tinatanong, Director Abanil. Sabi ni Thelma Deza, SDO Apayao. So, Ilocano po ito. Good morning. May we be clarified on the selection process for teacher broadcasters? With our desire to join the endeavor, one teacher, Joyce M. Ganaden, sent her audition video, and according to her, it was rated 60, 70, and 80. So she's waiting for further notice. Pa-advise po. Yan.
Yung 60,
so basically, ang gusto lang tanungin yung selection process po.
Yeah, yung 60, 70, 80, that actually is the passing grade na kailangan magkaroon ang isang teacher broadcaster who's part of the training program. So nung pinakita namin po yon, hindi po yun yung grade niya. That is yung kailangan niyang i-hit sa unang pass niya or sa unang assignment, which is a 3-minute video. Tapos yung second is kapag dumating sa point na pwede na siyang sumalang, then we grade her according to that particular TV lesson. Then the third one is kung after 2 lessons that have aired on television, if mananatili po siyang teacher broadcaster. So again, the selection process is like this. Director Abanil and si Yusek Alain will be issuing a memo for batch 3. Okay? Now what's going to happen is batch 3, if they are interested, they send audition videos. They take videos of themselves, and the instructions are there in the memo of what that video has to contain. Once we receive those videos, what's going to happen is we have the training team and we have the EdTech unit going through all of those videos and determining which ones are basically camera ready, those who are ready to take on the training program. If they are ready to take on the training program based on that video that they sent, the audition video, they undergo the workshop. So the workshop is a day and a half, pretty much like what we're doing right now, but this one's a very, very condensed version. They go through that day and a half workshop, they watch videos, and eventually what we're going to do is they watch videos, then they have to answer quizzes, right? So that's what batch 3, 4, 5 are going to have to do. And then after that, if they pass the workshop, then during the workshop, they actually pass another video. And in that video, whatever comments were given on their first, they have to address. And if they address it, and if they pass that part of the program, then they move on to the practical. The practical is, this is when they get partnered with studios, for example, in the division offices or in the various schools that have studios, when they get partnered with those studios, what happens now is they will record video, and then we will see if it's really broadcast ready. And if it is, then they can record there. We will give instructions so that they get assigned to a TV lesson already. They'll be assigned a module, they will be assigned a grade level and a subject. So that's the process. Mahaba pong proseso siya. Hindi po siya yung, napili ka sa teacher broadcaster, pasok na, you will be seen on TV. Hindi po ganon. Kasi pwede magaling kayo sa audition, dahil yung audition ay 2 minutes lang. We need you to be magaling, or we need you to be effective for the entire 25 minutes of that video. So nandun dapat yung energy ninyo, nandun dapat yung enthusiasm, nandun dapat yung charisma. I imagine that the process here for the editors, graphic artists, and illustrators will be much shorter. Why? Kasi ang hanap lang namin naman is the technical know-how. Kaya nyo ba mag-edit? Do you understand the different components and the different elements of editing? And do you have the equipment? Tapos ang kwento. Then we will be able to recruit you into the team, and we will immediately have you undergo the training para makapag-produce na tayo. Kasi ang mangyayari, kahit wala kayong teacher broadcasters sa inyong mga divisions or sa inyong mga regions, ang mangyayari po ay ang central office, ang CO, will be able to assign editing projects already to you, done by teacher broadcasters that are shot here in the studio that I showed you a while ago, yung video na yon. So ganun po, talagang malaking at mahabang proseso ang kailangan natin pagdaanan. But again, kung may kakilala kayo mga teacher broadcasters, and Director, correct me if I'm wrong, no? May proseso po ba, if kunyari, ako teacher ako, do I have to inform my principal? Do I have to inform school heads if I want to be part of the teacher broadcaster program? Or can I just send it directly to the central office?
Well, for the application of teacher broadcasters, you can send directly to the central office so that we can select talaga yung the best among the best dito sa ating mga teachers all over the country. Once we have identified the potential talents, we will then inform the schools and the divisions of these possible talents that we can have for the teacher broadcasters.
Kasi concern yata ng ilan, Director, is baka daw ay magalit yung mga school heads kapag hindi nagpaalam na balak nilang mag-audition. So, well, wala.
we hope na hindi mangyari ang screening sa schools saka sa divisions. Ang screening is dito sa central office so that we can really find sino yung mga appropriate na ang best talaga for each subject area. Kasi alam naman natin na kulang pa ang workforce natin ngayon, and we need substitute for the existing talents that we have already identified.
Yes, indeed. So we're looking at, gaya na sinabi ni Yusek Elena a while ago, 300 total. And right now, we need about 160 more. So 140 that we have right now, to be totally honest, hindi naman silang lahat ay makakasalang at magkakaroon ng television lessons. Kasi gaya ng binigay ko kanina, kailangan dumaan pa sila doon sa proseso ng quality assurance of their performance as teacher broadcasters. Dapat maganda yung pagsulat ng script, tama yung pagsulat ng script. Dapat yung presence nila on camera ay consistent and talagang nababagay sa television. And of course, work attitude, work ethic also matters. Pag medyo pasaway, minsan ay binibitawan natin sa programa. So importante yung mga ganung mga bagay-bagay. So there are some na magkakaroon ng pagkakataon na makapag-shoot or makapag-record dito sa NCR, or dun sa mga provinces outside NCR. Minsan ay ini-invite po namin dito para makapag-shoot sa studios either in the CO or dito sa may Shaw Boulevard sa Mandaluyong. But for those naman na walang access sa studios pero part of the teacher broadcaster team at nakikita namin na ay ito pwede na talaga isa lang dahil maganda ang material nila, gagawa po kami ng paraan to make sure that yung mga division offices po ninyo will be able to support you, or the schools will be able to support you. Dahil po, gaya na sinabi ni Yusek Aling kanina, ang pangalan na dadalhin po ninyo, hindi lamang po pangalan ninyo, pangalan po ng school ninyo, ng division ninyo, ng region ninyo, kundi pangalan din ng DepEd. So kailangan po ay lahat po yan ay as polished as possible para pag-ere po ng mga television lessons po ninyo, proud na proud po ang lahat sa lumalabas. So Direk Raymond, do we have any more questions? We have time for a couple more in case may mga humahabol pa. Once again, reminder for those of you maging bahagi po ng ating program. So we have editors who are interested. DepEd TV Channel Technical Production Team. Once again, DepEd TV Channel Technical and Production Team. Please join that. That's our FB group page. And dun sa mga interesado, we'll be getting in touch with you. May mga nag-PM na daw sa atin. We'll be getting in touch with you. We'll be assessing the equipment you have, the bandwidth that you have, and your capabilities. Kung pasok kayo, ayan, si Direk Raymond ang isa sa mga tututok sa inyo dyan. And we have editors. And by the way, when we talk about the training team, yung mga magte-train po sa inyo, lahat po sila bihasa sa television. Bilang mga direktor, mga executive producers, bilang mga graphics artists, ang mga shows po na ginawa nila, you're very, very familiar with. They've been working in ABS, GMA, TV5, CNN, Viva, name it. They've been all over the place. Kaya ganun po yung quality na makuha ninyong training. And that training is for free. Kaya please, take advantage of it. If you feel na kayo po ay may kakayanan, kayo po ay may capability, you have the talent, please be part of the team. This is going to be something that definitely will be making history. So Raymond, Direk Raymond, may questions pa ba tayo?
Yes, thank you, Paolo. Director Abanil, I'll just read two questions which are a bit related to each other. They are both questions and concerns regarding sa DepEd process po. Sabi ni Ruby Del Rosario of Occidental Mindoro, do we need to adhere to the BLR guidelines on developing learning materials? And then another one would be from Elizabeth T. de las Alas of Occidental Mindoro. Quality assurance of such TV program for sure shall be done, and who could help the LRMDS personnel for this undertaking? Sabi niya. Tapos ito yung question niya, do we need people outside our department like media people?
Well, ang quality assurance will be done. If you can do some quality assurance at your level, that would be very much appreciated, no? Especially sa pagtulong sa ating teacher broadcasters when they develop their script. Dito sa central office, we will be instituting mga quality assurance mechanisms as well in support of the curriculum strand. So we're planning to put up a review committee consisting of people from the Bureau of Learning Resources, BLD, BCD, as well as ICT Service, who will approve the video script before the teachers will actually deliver them in front of the camera para maiwasan natin yung nangyari doon. We will also have another layer of review to make sure that there are really or to minimize as much as possible the potential errors that may happen when we do this big effort of ours of producing 81 episodes per week.
Yes, thank you, Director. We have here, I'll show you really quickly. We won't go into so much detail, but these are the steps that Director Abanil was mentioning. No? So if you look at number 1, polish the module. What's going to happen here is if you have people who can be subject matter experts on your side, people who can assist on the content, then by all means, please utilize them. Pero mangyayari po dyan is itong polish the module by 2 subject matter experts plus EdTech. Obviously, subject matter experts, may manggagaling po dyan sa CI as well. Ito po yung unang QA natin, first quality assurance yan. Then the second na, yung teacher broadcaster, nag-i-imagine na siya kung anong maging itsura ng lesson niya. After that, i-check ng script together with the executive producer. Lahat po ng mga teacher broadcasters natin will have an executive producer. Kailangan silang gabayan every step of the way of production. And then after that, ibabalik yung script sa subject matter experts kung acceptable bang suggestions naman ng executive producer. After that, pag na-approve na si script, doon pa lang mag-shoot. Kasi ayaw natin na mag-shoot. Pagkatapos natin mag-shoot, titingnan natin kung may mga revisions ba doon sa sinubmit ni teacher na script, yung physical script or yung text. Check natin yung graphics, spelling, style. So dito ipapakita na kung anong magiging itsura sa television pero hindi with the graphics intended to use. Kumbaga text pa lang ang nakalagay. I-check natin kung tama ba ang spelling, tama ba ang grammar. Yeah. After that, isa pang double checking mangyayari between the executive producer and the teacher. And doon pa lang magsisimula ang tinatawag na offline edit. So dito natin kailangan ang ating mga editors dyan na nakikinig po. Direct, maybe you can briefly talk about what the offline edit entails.
Yes, Paolo, perfect. Kasi video production, merong mga nagtatanong. Yes. So basically, if we recommend these applications for you, we will have an audiovisual presentation that entails the basic on how to, number one, ingest, ang tinatawag nating ingest, yung pagka-shoot nyo po, and you have the SD card recorded, paano yung mga steps para ipasok, para mapunta po siya. But basically, the steps would be ingestion para mapunta dun sa inyong timeline. Ito yung workstation kung saan kayo nag-edit. And then we'll show you paano mag-sync. Syncing is number one, pag hindi pa embedded yung audio dun sa camera. These are the graphic inserts and the video inserts. Again, we'll just deal with the broad strokes now, but with the audiovisual presentation that we'll be having, hosted by DepEd, of course, madidetalye po dyan kung paano yung basic offline editing po natin.
Mm-hmm. So as Direct Raymond mentioned, para doon sa mga specific video editing sa graphics, talagang hiwalay talaga yan because these are components that have to be addressed individually. So if you look at step 9, 10, you have more QAs, no? So nakalagay na si graphics at step 9, QA by DepEd team will happen step 10, so may QA na naman. Then kung may revisions, i-apply yan, step 11. Sa 12, kung anong mga kailangan pang i-revise, dapat nagawa na, ipi-preview ngayon ng executive producer, and then mastering happens. Ang mastering in television broadcast, pag sabi mo mastering, ito na ang pinaka, kumbaga, mother copy mo, right? So ito yung kopya na i-reformat mo na sa Signal, Solar, IBC13, and ready for broadcast na yan. Pero ang ginawa natin, kahit na master na siya, meaning nalagay na yung mga graphics, sound, and all of these other things that basically yan ang itsura niya, ipi-preview pa ulit siya ng executive producer at ng EdTech for revision. Final revision na lang yan. That's step 14. So step 15, master editor to revise for final. So yan na yan. By 16, final preview, and then meron pa yung step 17 hanggang mga 30 yan up until umere yan sa television. So gaya na sinabi ni Yusek Alain a while ago, there are three major lines. Now there's the content line na may mga intersect with the production line that has some intersect as well with the distribution line. You can be part of 1, 2, or 3 of these different lines in our project. Kasi meron din kaming training para doon sa mga nais maging coordinator. Kasi pwede kayong matutuon mismo sa inyong mga studios para at least ready na siya for broadcast. Pwede na i-distribute to the various networks. So this is an overview. Napakahaba, gaya sinabi ko ng proseso. This will take about 2 weeks to complete. So imagine one episode na 25 minutes will take about 2 weeks to edit. So clearly, kailangan namin ng mas marami talaga na mga editors, graphics artists, mga illustrators. And maraming nag-volunteer sa FB page. Maraming salamat. Matutuwa at believe me when I say we are going to make sure na fully equipped and able and talagang magagawa namin ng paraan. Medyo overtime tayo. So Director Abanil, maybe we can have a few closing remarks from you as we formally end our orientation for today.
Well, ano lang naman, magpapasalamat talaga kami sa inyong tulong, no? And we're very happy na marami nang nagsa-sign up. Itong bagay na to ay napakahirap. Marami tayong ma-encounter na mga logistical difficulties kasi first time natin to ginawa. Yung mga usual nga natin na ginagawa, marami na tayong na-encounter na problems. No? Ito pa kaya na first time natin ginawa at actually first time in the history ng Pilipinas sa broadcasting industry na tawag nito profession, teacher broadcasting profession under the Department of Education. So ito kailangan para sa ating mga So with that, I really thank you sa inyong enthusiasm to join us in this effort. Hindi pa namin masagot lahat ng mga tanong ninyo, no? Mga questions niyo with regards to the mga operational details, yung mga guidelines that need to be developed for this effort. We are working on addressing each one of this one by one. Kaya tulong-tulungan na lang tayo at we hope for your indulgence sa ating mga ma-encounter na mga problems later on as we implement this particular program.
Maraming salamat, Director Abanil. At sa lahat po na nakikinig, maraming salamat. Thank you as well for your enthusiasm. Thank you for your determination to make this happen. Marami na daw ang nag-message sa atin, nag-volunteer sa FB page. Direct Raymond will be there to get in touch with all of you. And then isi-schedule na po natin. Kung pasok kayo sa ating mga standards para sa television, we will immediately mobilize you at makakatanggap kayo ng notice for training immediately. And kung may mga kakilala po kayo na nais maging bahagi ng Teacher Broadcaster Pre, please encourage them to send their audition videos. Kailangan po yan. And then kung may mga kakilala kayo na hindi naging bahagi ng ating workshop or ng ating orientation ngayon, na editors, graphic artists, illustrators, nais maging executive producers or associate producers, please again follow the Facebook page po or send them the link. It's going to be open for everyone who really wants to be part of the DepEd TV training program. All right? So on behalf po ng training team namin, yan si Direk Raymond, si Marge na who's been working behind the scenes. Ayan, who's not behind the scenes anymore. Ayan po si Marge. You'll be seeing a lot more of her who joined us as well to give an inspiring message. Thank you for your time, and we're hoping to see you soon. Please message us if you want to be part of this fantastic and truly history-making project. God bless po sa inyong lahat. Please stay safe, stay protected, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.